were initially set aside for if we were in a major conflict with Russia or China, and our military and industry needed to be ensured of having the oil, gas, everything that they needed to continue running. Now it's used a little bit more like a piggy bank. Like, okay, we can try to help increase the supply of oil without necessarily increasing the supply of oil. Because of, we know Joe Biden has talked about fossil fuel companies wanting to put some of them out of business, right? We want to go green. We want to stop dealing with fossil fuel companies. So he has increased regulations because, again, there's a lot with refining. And I will say this about the Biden administration. It's interesting. He has leased fewer acres for oil and gas drilling offshore than any other president. I think he's done like 130,000 acres, where no previous president has leased out fewer than 4.4 million. So again, you're dealing with supply and demand, and right now the demand is high. The supply is a little bit lower.
Right. And also it's not like the refineries that do exist are operating at maximum potential right now. That's another one of the issues.
And there are unused leases.
Right. And there are unused. So, there's a lot that goes into this. And by the way, speaking of that idea, though, that the president's message, the government's message can impact the behavior of these companies. Patrick DeHaan talked about that this morning as well.
Well, a lot of it is simply comments on the future of oil, saying oil companies are ripping off consumers, saying oil companies, I'm going to slap a windfall tax on them, I'm going to shut them down. Back in Biden's campaign, he was talking about the end of fossil fuel. So it's really giving oil companies cold feet. It's kind of like a friend that talks behind your back and says one thing nice to your face, but what President Biden is doing is also undermining the oil sector, and that's giving them cold feet and resistance to maybe increasing production as he'd like to see fit.
They have the coldest feet on the planet.
It just, I don't. I just can't get down with this, man.
Everything gives them cold feet, right? Again, no matter what it is, like, well, it could get bad, so here you go, guys, eat this.
It's just a completely volatile market. Again, I'm not a businesswoman. It's not how my mind operates. But what I do know is that if you're dealing with the market, you're dealing with prices, and 1 year you can be in a situation where the price of oil is less than what's going to be forecasted, or you right now are making a big profit. I think you're trying to operate so that it balances out. And I'm not saying that they're not taking advantage of it. I would think most businesses do take advantage of profits. And if your supply is down, which is driving up prices, you're going with the market price unless an oil company says, you know what, for the good of the people, we're going to take a giant hit.
That's the thing. It's not like any other business. Like Kevin said, you don't have to eat fast food. You don't have to go to certain things. But oil right now, at this point in our human history, we need it. We need to use these things. I mean, there's going to have to be a point where we get ourselves far away from it being the only thing that we use, or the first source of energy that we use. We're going to have to, and it's probably going to be a long time from now, but we're going to have to go that direction. And there's a recognition that while that's what we're building toward, if it's 40, 50 years from now or whatever it is, we're going to have to get there. But right now, we have to have this. We have to use oil, and I think that's been the message. So I'm just and knowing that people need it now to what essentially seems to me like price gouging, because companies can do it. They're getting away with it because they can do it, because they know people need it. They know people can pay for it or have to pay for it. They know people have to travel. They know people have to go to work. So they're going to get away with what they can. And a lot of companies in different sectors are doing the exact same thing.
Oh, and we're going to touch on that coming up in just a couple of minutes, as a matter of fact. We got a texter, 314, says we are in a major conflict with Russia. It just looks different. That's a fair point, because a lot of what we're seeing at the pump started with them going into Ukraine.
Well, I understand, but literally the Strategic Petroleum Reserve was for military and industry, critical industry and military operations that could not function because we didn't have access to oil. It's fine that they're using it as a piggy bank, but this oil is not being diverted to keep critical industry and military operations running.
Shouldn't there be a recognition then on our part that, hey, we're in a really odd time here in history, and people around the world are paying a lot of money for gasoline. So instead of opening up these reserves, which are probably not going to do much for the price of gas nationally, we're going to have to eat it, and we're all going to have to be grown-ups about it. This is a time in history where we're just going to pay high gas prices, and eventually it's going to correct itself, but it won't happen anytime soon.
So I think that's the take.
We should all be grown-ups about it individually.
And I think that's that's the reality, because this release and kind of re-announcement of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve is temporary. It fixes nothing.
Right.
It's a temporary thing. And we all know what it is. It was a play because Democrats are worried about the midterms. You're a month away from midterms and gas prices are high, whether it was Chris Hayes, Reuters, Bloomberg saying this was a political move to bring down gas prices before the midterms.
It's a political move.
Elections.
It is, yeah.
It's a political move because we are not grown-ups about this. Because they know that people are going to vote based on the price of gas, and they're doing whatever they can to give you the optics that they're trying to do something about it, because they know people won't go, hey, this is just how it is right now. We're going to have to wear this for a bit, and then it's going to be better. But we don't do that. We're just going to blame the party who's in charge.
How many Republicans are going to vote Democrat because this maybe brings down the price of gas?
Yeah,
5%?
none.
Oh, none. None. But you have independents. That's the people you worry about, the people who flip-flop back and forth all the time.
That is definitely where people should be targeting their energy, because they are the ones that change and sway in that middle. We're going to take a quick break. I don't want to read this text before we do, and we'll pick it up on the other side, because we're going to talk about other companies doing this same kind of thing. We said you got one here that says, this 217, oil companies are publicly traded and their responsibility is to shareholders. If you don't want that, then the other option is state-owned oil companies, and then you'll become Russia or Venezuela. No, I think you're right, but that doesn't mean we can't criticize their behavior. None of us are saying, hey, Biden, take over the oil. Nobody's saying that.
But don't let the companies run wild and do whatever they want to.
But they can also be criticized when they're always out front of the problem. And then when there isn't as big a problem, like, oh, good, more money for us.
Good text from the 217.
Yeah, good text, and it's a correct point, but you can still criticize their actions. We got more on this and other businesses and companies that are in a time of crisis making huge profits because they keep on jacking up the prices. Next up on the show.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is, without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-328-8000 or at chrisbuyshomeSt.Louis.com and get your cash offer without any obligations, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay the rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-328-8000. That's 314-328-8000. Call Chris and get the offer you've been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com or call 314-328-8000.
At Neovitin, our goal is to create safe, dependable multivitamins to support your everyday nutrition when you need it most. That's why we've formulated Neovitin 50 plus multivitamins with 20 daily ingredients, including B vitamins for energy support, vitamin C for immune support, and Dr. Abicki's 4-ingredient proprietary blend that you won't find in any other multivitamins. Neovitin 50 plus multivitamins come in 2 specifically designed formulas to help support your nutritional needs. Neovitin Men's 50 plus multivitamin for men 50 and older, and Neovitin Women's 50 plus multivitamin for women 50 and older. With a 4.8 out of 5-star rating on Trustpilot, you can be sure you are getting quality nutritional support with Neovitin. Support your best life today with Neovitin 50 plus multivitamins. Available at your local Dierbergs, Schnucks, and online with our easy-to-use monthly subscriptions at neovitin.com. That's Neovitin.com. neovitan.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at ThrottleNet. These are the genius IT guys that I've been representing for years and years now. We are number one all the time. Best in customer service from Small Business Monthly. Best in cybersecurity, again, Small Business Monthly. We have an average response time. I love this statistic. The average response time in St. Louis in 2020 by IT companies. You have a problem, you reach out to them, hey, I'm all shut down, help me, was 3 hours. If you got back within 3 hours, you were cool. Ours was 1 minute, 57 seconds, and the guys were very unhappy with that. It takes less than 2 minutes for us to address your problems. Here's a huge thing. We are now offering $500,000 in ransom protection to everyone who uses us. This is part of the deal. You don't pay extra for it. So if you happen to be hit and you have to pay, we're going to pay it up to $500,000. Now, this shows you how confident we are because no one under our protection has ever had to pay. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS.
To understand what makes Diamonds Direct so different than other jewelry stores, you have to go back 60 years, when a diamond cutter in Israel became well known for his exceptional craftsmanship. His diamond cutting business flourished for decades. Then his sons got involved and started selling these exceptional diamonds to upscale jewelry stores here in America. Then, after a few years, these wholesalers changed the game and started selling these precious diamonds direct to the public at the same prices they had sold to the jewelry stores. The no middleman concept became an instant success, and Diamonds Direct was born. Today, Diamonds Direct provides that extraordinary value to people all over America, leading the industry with the highest quality diamonds that still come straight from the best cutters, offered at the guaranteed best prices, period. Diamonds Direct, a truly revolutionary concept with a unique history rooted in quality, committed to excellence, and always focused on value. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. DiamondsDirect.com.
Local news and information direct to your smart speaker. Just say, play KMOX.
I'm back on the show. And again, I want to be clear. We're talking about companies that are, and we were talking oil companies at the beginning and oil prices, and it was a great segment on Total Information AM this morning with Patrick DeHaan kind of laying out how it works, why it is the way that it is, and all that. It's good to know the things behind the scenes, but it's not the only industry where prices are increasing at a rate higher than inflation, even while profits are at record levels. And again, nobody is saying government step in and change it. All we're doing is offering up criticism because it's one thing to raise prices to keep up with inflation, and it's another thing entirely to say, well, things are great and we're going to keep making them greater because we can use the economy, we can use inflation as an excuse to continue to jack up the prices. And we are allowed to make note of that and criticize it, and maybe even alter our behaviors and what we're doing and how we spend our money.
I will say one industry that has seen prices absolutely skyrocket rapidly past the pace of inflation, and that would be college tuition.
Oof.
It's not even close.
Well, that's been happening for decades.
They're not even trying.
Right? That's not just new. That's been going on forever.
Decade-long inflation.
Yeah.
The price of college, universities, and even private schools has absolutely skyrocketed, and it makes no sense.
Yeah. I was looking, so Susan and I are talking about, potentially visiting one of the Disney theme parks in Florida at some point. And we're looking at the pricing, and we're looking at like the slow season pricing, and I'm looking at it going, wow, that got a lot more expensive. And then I started looking into it. I'm like, Disney's doing pretty well these days. Mm-hmm. Their profits are exceeding expectations quarter by quarter now that we're out of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And yet even the slow season prices, they have the dynamic pricing that we see in sports. The busier times of year, it's going to cost more. The slower times of year cost a little bit less. Funny though, there are fewer, quote, slow times in the year nowadays. They don't have very many of those anymore, according to the pricing setup. And I just was fascinated by the amount that it will cost for two people to spend one day there.
Okay.
Not stay at the hotel, not anything else, just between all of the things that you need to, like your tickets to get in. Mm-hmm. And if you don't want to stand in every line, they have services that you can sign up for that cost a little extra. Genie Plus costs a little extra to move a little faster in some of the lines. And then, of course, you're going to eat while you're there. You're allowed to bring food into there, though. You are allowed to bring.
I think a lot of amusement parks, right?
You can't bring like glass containers, and I think that's about it. Like you can bring in bags of food, you can bring in drinks in plastic bottles and things like that. So it's not as bad. But I mean, you're
well, if
talking
you would have
about,
like a full out meal, you got to go to the parking lot,
but
right?
for two people, which
Yeah.
is just look at, and we're not talking about buying all kinds of souvenirs and all that. You're probably looking at $700 for a day.
Well,
For a day.
that's how much a flight costs to Rhode Island right now. That's why I'm not going.
And
We
again,
have to go random.
Yeah.
Yes, we want to fly to Rhode Island.
Yeah, for a wedding, I'm not
You
going.
and- you and
Anyway,
another
and again,
guy.
you can-
I mentioned it.
when it comes to these other things, you can choose not to do that. I can choose not to go there if I don't want to do it. That's fine. In some places, like when the reason we focus on oil is because you don't really have that choice.
Mhm.
You know, the people that have to go to work mostly drive, and you have to make that decision. So that's why there's more focus on that. But it's happening in a lot of different industries right now.
I will say this. We talked about parody accounts, the Babylon Bee, which is kind of a conservative leaning parody account, but it does say Disney announces new cheaper travel option where you pay $3,000 not to go to Disney because it's so expensive and everybody goes.
it is
Well,
ridiculous,
so
right?
It's a
expensive.
fun day. Now, again, I have no interest in like the old school stuff. I want to go see the Star Wars part in the Disney Hollywood Studios, right?
Well, just to kind of cap this off here as we go to break, corporate profits are up to a 70-year high post-tax.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
they're doing so well right now, and
Huh.
we're not seeing any of that relief. None of
Okay.
it.
Well,
But them's the breaks.
That's what I heard. Hey, our guy might get another
he
chance.
might. We'll talk about that next on the show.
Weeknights at 6. It's the Meyer Jensen Sports Open Line.
Welcome into the program. My name is Matt Pauley.
Matt gets you inside the world of sports. Cardinals, Chiefs, Pelicans. You'll get it all and much more.
We have an exclusive podcast that's Cardinals related called Cardscast.
Plus great guests, insight, and conversations with you.
If you want to join us, you can do so by calling or texting.
The Meyer Jensen Sports Open Line on America's Sports Voice. KMOX.
This month's Zero Rent special. The more you clean, the more you save. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129 or 5 rooms starting at $199. A 43% savings. Take $75 off any air duct cleaning package. Call 314-474-2020 or go to ZeroResSTL.com.
Yes, with inflation, interest rate increases, and a possible recession looming, we are no doubt facing uncertain times in the housing market. But as a realtor with over 20 years of experience, I can tell you, if you're thinking of selling your home, now more than ever, you need a realtor to help you through these times while saving you money. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty, and we offer all of this for only 4%. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
At 10:30, we have sunny skies, and it is 42 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel. Russian President Vladimir Putin doubled down on his faltering invasion of Ukraine with a declaration of martial law in 4 illegally annexed regions and preparations within Russia for draconian new restrictions and crackdowns. Campaign spending setting records in races to oversee state elections. It's been spurred by races involving candidates who echo former President Trump's false claims about fraud, costing him the 2020 presidential election. The former president, meantime, answered questions under oath in a defamation lawsuit filed by a writer who says the Republican raped her in the mid-90s. And the KMOX forecast. Look for sunny skies, warmer this afternoon, the high around 70 degrees. And then tonight, clear to partly cloudy, overnight low of 50 degrees. There is a stalled vehicle 270 northbound to Doherty Ferry Road. Be prepared to stop there. That could be cleared out in about 10 minutes. Another stall 270 northbound at 70 and a crash 170 northbound at St. Charles Rock Road. That has the center, St. Charles Rock Road, I should say, on the right shoulder. That could be cleared up in about 10 minutes. Right now, we do have plenty of sunshine downtown at the Arch. It is 50 degrees. It feels like 48. I'm Carol Daniel, KMOX News.
Hey, I'm Fami Redwood, host of the podcast Beyond Black History Month. Here's reason number 568 million of why you should be listening. From in-depth reporting on the shortage of black sperm to how one House of the Dragon star is dealing with online trolls who don't love seeing black dragon riders.
I can't lose sleep over that, over worrying about things that are beyond my control.
Listen and subscribe to Beyond Black History Month on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
We're all on this planet together. So join Odyssey and find your one thing. Now that it's autumn, check window and door seals for proper insulation and replace your furnace air filter. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
KMOX with the St. Louis Odyssey stations will once again partner with you to raise funds for SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital through the Tree of Hope program. Thanks to you, we have raised more than $170,000 over the past 2 years. Cardinal Glennon has touched many lives over the years. If you have a story to share, we'd love to hear it. Sign up at KMOX.com/Cardinal Glennon or text HOPE to 20357.
Sunday, it's the Chiefs and 49ers, and you can hear the game here. Pre-game coverage at 2, kickoff 3:25. Kansas City, San Francisco, this Sunday. Touchdown! Kansas City! On your home for Chiefs football, KMOX.
All right, coming up on 10:35 on the show, Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. We'll be joining. We'll have Matt Pauley with us at 12:30. Derek Gould's going to be in studio. We're going to get his Stanley Hotel story, and I don't know, probably a little bit on the Cardinals off season. Probably, you think?
I like haunted hotels better.
I like those two a lot, especially this time of year. So we got good stuff coming your way with a couple of guests later on. Boy. I did not see this last night for whatever reason. Last night after I did my homework, I just kind of like shut down, watched some playoff baseball, watched a little hockey, watched the Blues playing out in Seattle a little bit late into the evening. And I wake up this morning and I'm listening to Total Information AM on the way in, and I hear Liz Truss is out as the PM in the UK, and I'm like, wait, that was like a week ago.
Grand opening, grand closing. Man.
And it's fascinating because obviously the Conservative Party there is not happy with her. And it sounds, and she's stepping down, but look, this is not like a total voluntary thing. It's just the party's unhappy. She's doing this because she's being pressured to. And it's amazing how fast that can change over there.
Yes.
Can you imagine that? I know it's not the same as the presidency. It's not an equivalent office, but still, that's a massive change in 6 weeks.
So it's kind of funny because I don't know if people who are very online might have seen that Liz Truss was being compared to a head of lettuce. And the question was,
there's a live stroll teller. Tell Kevin about this. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was a news station that got a head of lettuce, and they were saying
Daily Star,
which will wilt first.
Yep.
This head of lettuce.
So
it's trending.
There's a photo.
Truss lettuce is trending. I did not see this.
Well, it's not a photo. It's a video live stream of a photo of her and a head of lettuce sitting on a table, and they've been live streaming it just to see which lasts longer.
Anyway,
got hair.
Yesterday, the video declares the lettuce outlasted Liz Truss. Minutes later, a remix of Celebration by Kool and the Gang set the mood.
I just retweeted this, by the way. I just had to.
The New York Times notes, quote, "To be compared directly to lettuce was one of many indicators that Ms. Truss had a nightmare turn as Britain's leader since the Conservative Party elevated her in September to replace Boris Johnson."
See, you know what? It's funny when it's not your country.
Well,
it's hysterical when it's not yours.
It's always funny when lettuce wins.
Lettuce is.
But them's the breaks.
How has lettuce been winning all these years? It tastes like nothing.
I love lettuce.
Lettuce is great.
It's so crispy and cold.
I know. I just it's perfect.
So Liz Truss's proposed tax cut plan alarmed voters in the UK, in case people are kind of wondering, if you're not distracted by the lettuce and you're wondering. So she had this tax cut plan. It alarmed voters and the markets. We actually felt it over here.
Yeah.
And so she tried to reverse her policies, and then it just didn't work. They had to give her the boot.
Yeah, and again, this is about her party, though, choosing this. I mean, this is not, yes, public opinion matters. The economy and the reaction to her ideas matter. But ultimately, this was the people in the Conservative Party in the UK saying, we don't believe in you anymore. There was a vote of no confidence.
Can I just add something about the lettuce?
I mean, more lettuce, please.
Yeah, the New York Times continued and said, the Daily Star took the Economist's joke and ran with it, plopping the lettuce on a table next to a framed photo of Miss Truss. The lettuce was later given a glow-up, featuring a blonde wig, glasses, and Mr. Potato Head-like feet and hands, while it was surrounded with crackers and a mug. At one point, the lettuce wore an eye mask to get some rest.
And again, it probably shouldn't be as funny as it seems, but again, it's not. This is not like the president of the United States stepping down. This is the PM does not have that kind of power, and it's they're not chosen by the people. It's not like the British people went out and voted for Liz Truss and then everybody else got rid of her. No, this is the party selected her, and then they took that selection back.
Yeah,
and it's again totally different system. This is not as disruptive to them as again the similar situation would be here. Like just as using the example of Richard Nixon stepping down and all of that was, and the history of that, it's probably, I didn't look this up. This is probably one of the quickest turnarounds they've ever had in the UK.
It's the quickest.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the
6
shortest
weeks is a pretty short amount of time, but they've also cut short, the terms of a lot of people, just not this short.
It is the shortest term.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Since the beginning of the 20th century, it had the briefest tenure in 100 years. So 45 days for her. The next person's name was I guess Bonar. I don't know. Is it Bonar? Bonar Law. Either Bonar or Bonar.
Could be Bonar.
Or it could be Bonar. It's got to be Bonar, right? Well, this person served 209 days.
Okay.
Bonar, Bonar.
All right.
How do you pronounce that?
What's the last name?
Law.
Bonar Law?
Yeah, Bonar Law. Bonar Law lasted 209 days. So
his first name was Andrew.
Bonar?
It was Andrew Bonar Law, a.k.a. FJ. That's also known as
What's
FJ.
with all the weird, just random letters?
I don't know.
Anyway, so this person,
I'm gonna
that was
go
in
with
1923.
And he also resigned because he was terminally ill.
Oh,
It wasn't just so when you look at these other, I just found this list, the list of the shortest tenures for prime ministers. I only know the last names here. I don't know all of them, but Canning was 119 days. That was previously shortest because he died. Goodrich, 144 days. The caption next to it was useless. Then we have our buddy Bonar Law, terminally ill. So most of the ones that have been this short are because somebody's health is a major problem. And this is not the case. 41 days. Well, actually, what is it now? 44 days. Not
And
great.
Boris Johnson served 1,139 days.
Speaking of that, I heard this morning
Yes.
on the news. Was it the CBS News?
Yes.
That he
Right here on Total Information AM.
that Boris could be one of the people that could step back into the breach.
How does that happen?
Possible? How
Well,
does that happen?
it's like hockey. You get hurt, you go off the ice, you go back to the trainer, you get taped up, and they put you
Get
back
some
on the ice.
stitches and just get back
Not
after
with
it.
baseball.
Or like football.
You can't take a pitcher out.
Baseball's weird.
I don't know. The prime minister is kind of like the starting pitcher. You can't just take him out and then put him back
Apparently
in.
you can.
But them's the breaks.
Well,
I mean, here you have.
You think he called and said that to Liz?
I mean, he should have.
Them's the breaks.
What's amazing is that you have the Prime Minister of England, and he vacated that position of authority because of scandal after scandal.
Right.
And he ends his speech with
Them's the breaks.
and hasta la vista.
Hasta la vista. So you know what he's got to do now?
Hasta la vista, baby.
He has to say to somebody, I'll be back.
No,
he has to.
Or he has to do it when he gets out there. I'm back.
Oh, he could do the Independence Day. You're right.
Yeah.
Or
I keep wanting to say Cousin Eddie, but that's not Cousin Eddie.
To take
It's
this
the same actor, but it's not Cousin Eddie.
down a sports path, he could do the Michael Jordan. You remember when MJ retired from basketball after his father was murdered and he went and played baseball for a while? He returned by sending a fax. Like a fax machine. Remember the fax machine?
Mm-hmm.
And on the fax, it was a letter, and all the letter said was, "I'm back." That was it. That was his announcement that I'm coming back to the NBA. That's what Boris Johnson can do now.
Except it could be a text or an email instead of a fax.
I would skywrite it.
Dude,
Get a
that would be pretty
skywriter.
nice. That would be
When's the
pretty
last
nice.
time you've seen a good skywriter?
Surrender Dorothy. That was the last time
What?
What is that?
from The Wizard of Oz. That's what the witch wrote, wasn't it? Surrender Dorothy.
I
remember.
don't know.
I haven't seen that movie in like probably 35 years, 40,
No, yeah, I
40
haven't seen
years.
it in
When
a
was the
while.
last time you saw a skywriter?
Like a real one?
Yeah.
No,
Not in a movie?
a
I
long
don't
time.
know. I honestly don't know.
Probably when I was a kid was the last time.
Yeah.
I think I, did see
I
one
see
down
people
here.
fly the banners, like Coach
There
X
was
needs to
one-
be fired or whatever.
I saw one before, I think, our first playoff game.
Can I ask-
Cardinals' first playoff game.
A question that could easily be solved by Googling. However, I'm just going to throw it out there. What happened to the Goodyear blimp? You don't see
Oh,
it.
it's still a thing.
It's
you?
at all the major sporting
How
events.
come I never see the Goodyear blimp?
Because we don't have any major sporting events.
We used to.
No, it's
Well, like
I mean,
Super
but
Bowl.
it's at the Super Bowl.
Gotta have a
it's at
Super Bowl.
college bowl games.
Yeah.
It's
When was the last time you saw the Goodyear blimp?
I saw one in around this area within the last 5 years.
Well, that's a long time.
We got a text in the 314 said all of this is why they put their monarchy on the currency and not the president. Well, it's not a president.
That's
the
right.
PM, but yeah. There's a reason why Liz Truss and Boris Johnson weren't on their 20. Not going to be.
I don't think that's the only reason.
It's not the only reason. It's tradition.
Yeah.
It's tradition.
I'm just saying, Kevin, if I asked somebody how you were and someone said he's fine, and I said, oh, really? How do you know? And you said, because I saw him within the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I would not be convinced.
Okay. Also depends on the questioning, like what do they mean by fine? Like is he healthful?
Is he
fine?
around?
Is he fine?
Look,
like how do they mean that?
That's a good point.
It's
Where's the
Kevin.
emphasis?
Because again, if you haven't seen it in
Fine.
5 years, that can really change too.
Well, let's really think about this from the perspective of you're a citizen of the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
How much do you really like? What if Boris Johnson does come back like 2 months later? Right? She's going to serve until they appoint somebody new. So, but what if it's him? Like, what are you thinking if you're a citizen of the country? And you made this guy go away because he did something he wasn't supposed to, and he faced repercussions, which, by the way, what a novel concept. He faces the repercussions, he's gone, and then like 2 months later gets to come back and be the prime minister again. What are you thinking?
No, he's not the front runner. So
No,
what
but
would happen
he's
to
an
happen?
option.
No, he was just mentioned.
But I'm
Yeah.
just saying, if that were to happen, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking, well, I don't know.
The British are
I
pretty
don't know what I'm
stoic.
thinking. Yeah,
They're pretty stoic, though.
But they don't put up with a lot of nonsense.
Which I appreciate. I love.
Although they put up with the
I love
nonsense
that.
of the royal family, so I,
think-
don't know. Maybe they should. Maybe they would.
Half of them will march in protest, and half of them will say,
I know
"Them's
what
the
they
breaks."
should do.
What?
Reinstate the king to his full kingly powers.
Let's
With
go.
Charles?
No, don't
Full
do that.
monarch. That's right.
He's going
Go
full monarch.
On that,
Let's go.
on that note,
He's gonna. You know what he's gonna do?
we got what's trending coming up next on the show.
This is Debbie Monterey with a real estate update and some insight from my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria told me that sitting on the sidelines may not be the best strategy moving forward in this continually shifting market. Homes aren't selling as quickly, and in most cases, price reductions are becoming pretty common. Gloria also said that earlier this year, with low inventory, sellers didn't need a strategy to sell homes because homes were listed and sold immediately. Now more than ever, it's crucial to have a proven strategy to get your home sold. And that's why I strongly suggest you call local real estate expert Gloria Liu before you list your home to get the absolute most money. Gloria is so confident that she will sell your home. She'll guarantee in writing upfront to sell it at your agreed to price and time frame, or she'll buy your home herself. Learn more by calling Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
The time of year, first responders do recommend you change your batteries in your smoke alarms. The other item is a carbon monoxide detector. When it goes off, do not treat it like we treat smoke detectors and just take the battery out and ignore it. If your carbon monoxide goes off, get out of the house, call 911, get the fire department out there and let them know why you're calling them. It is that serious. Do not ignore a carbon monoxide detector. Just don't do it. After they clear you, call me. It's Bart Inman. The number is one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The only number that we have. There's no other. Bart Inman. It's 314-293-2600. Again, 314-293-2600. Or Bart with a B, Inman with an I. BartInman.com.
Hi, guys. It's Andrew with Pineview Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED, but what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now. 314-530-7777.
For all your communication needs, check out the Center for Hearing and Speech. Call today, 314-968-4710 or chsstl.org.
Tom Ackerman sees clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Mahotra. You can too. Go to yourEyeDoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than four? 314-441-4444.
Who is this guy?
Kevin Wheeler.
With exaggerated mouth and tongue movements.
On the show.
What is it? What's happened?
What's going on? What do you know?
What just happened?
What happened?
I need to know.
Trending now on the show.
All right, Trending is sponsored by Old Town Donuts in Florissant and Cottleville. Amy, you're up first.
Bad news.
Oh, God. What?
Greedy companies, guys. Netflix has announced that it will start charging for extra users. It's going to have an extra user fee.
So you can't give somebody else your password and your login and let them use it?
Well, you can, but there will be. They announced on Tuesday during their quarterly earnings report that in short order, it will be charging customers a monthly fee if they are sharing their username and password.
Oh.
How much?
It doesn't say here. It just says the decision follows a piloted program, which has already been rolled out in Latin America. Well, that stinks.
I mean, I can't really complain about that. I mean, if you're using something, you should be paying for it.
You know,
we've been getting away with it for a long time. It's not quite like Napster, but it's got a little Napster feel to it. We're just giving stuff away for free.
Well, at least with this, somebody's paying something.
Right. And again, it doesn't have to. If it's only a few dollars or something, it's not the end of the world.
I love that my brother was letting me use his Disney streaming, with his password and all of that for a small fee. And then I brought up the fee one time, and his fiance said, "Wait a minute, Joe, that's my brother. Joe's using my account." So my brother was charging me.
Does Joe work in the oil industry?
Wow, that is
because that's a total oil move.
Dude, that's brilliant.
It's brilliant. And his fiance was astounded by a sleazy business move.
That is awesome.
I don't know whether to high five him or tell him it's terrible.
And
I love him.
This was his thing. No,
what a guy.
You used my Amazon card. It was like $30 like 7 years ago. You owed me $30 anyway.
I met your brother. He doesn't talk like that.
All guys talk like that when then he said this.
You want to know how I imitate you?
No, I know what it is.
No. It's very nice. Very regal. I give you a regal sound.
Go
regal.
Jump in a lake.
I said, well, Chris, actually, that's how I.
I feel like that's not true.
Mike Pence right
Pence
now.
Is trending.
He is trending right now in a speaking engagement yesterday at Georgetown University, talking about the future of conservatism. There was a Q&A session, and he was asked this question.
Donald Trump is the Republican nominee for president in 2024. Will you vote for him?
Well, there might be somebody else I'd prefer more.
It's almost like a studio audience. Like it was like this. Like that. Remember the old Happy Days where they all be like, "Ooh."
Oh, it was like, and the look on his face, it was like,
He's like,
how do I put this?
Oh no.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ascribe motivations or intention to Mike Pence. However, it was implied that somebody might be anyone else in the whole world.
Guy tried to get me killed.
I was gonna say that didn't really end well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like asking someone if they would vote for their recently divorced ex.
I mean, I'd be like,
like,
hey,
would you? Of course, that did not go well in the last couple of months. I mean, that was like...
Hey, Wheels, remember that last time we were on a show together and you led everyone marching through the building saying, hang Amy mark scores?
Yeah.
That's not a big deal.
Hey, you know what?
You're
We
fine.
can still do this show.
We
Look.
can still do this show.
Look, he's a Christian. Forgive and forget. You know what I mean?
Let bygones
Got to move on.
be bygones.
Just got to move on. It was a time.
So, well, good for him. Good for him.
I mean, he answered it diplomatically. I mean,
Yeah.
what else do you say?
I mean, you could have just been like,
No.
Yeah. But at least he was being nice about it.
Yeah, I thought it was very diplomatic.
In fact, it is a lot nicer than I think any of us in this room would be.
I'm not nice at all. I would be mean.
Amy would probably be diplomatic. I think you and I would be like, absolutely not.
I said earlier in the office that if I were Mike Pence, there would have been a fist fight the way I got treated.
By the way.
And I know that would have been jail time.
By the way.
You're going to fist fight Judith. That's not that special.
Oh,
of
yeah,
a
you
comment.
No. I'm just saying, listen.
That's right. He would.
How do you sit back and not say or do anything when someone puts your life on the line? We're fighting. If somebody does that, Amy, you do that to me, we're fighting.
Yep. Yep.
Like physical fighting.
Right in the nose.
We're throwing hands.
I don't like the way this conversation is going.
That's okay. You would never do that. You're an honorable person.
Amy likes donuts. He'd be getting you a Hertz donut.
Oh my gosh.
Punch right in the nose.
You're fired.
Hertz donut. I know this. This was funny because earlier we were talking about it, and I thought for sure Mike Pence, I don't know why, but I thought he was like 6'1 or 6'2. He's only 5'10.
Huh, only.
Yeah,
He's a
he
tall guy.
looks big, right?
He does look like he's 6'2 or yeah.
Everybody looks 6'2 to me.
Well,
I don't.
Kevin, just a little
Amy
guy.
doesn't. Oh.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
Kevin goes.
No, you're not. Yeah.
Not so little.
Kevin, I said, "Oh wow, Mike Pence," but I thought he was like 6'2", and Kevin goes, "Yeah, but he's jacked." And I was like, "Oh, really?"
He might be.
I totally believed him. Like, "Oh, is he really?"
Never seen him.
You know, you guys ever see that? You can't see it on the radio, but Ron, you know that gesture when you get somebody, you put the finger in the hook and like a fish been hooked. You go, gotcha. Yeah, she got hooked.
I'm gullible though. If you guys, I don't
Yeah,
know
you
why
are.
I believe you two. You two of all people, and yet I do.
I'm like patted my arm. I'm like, oh, but he's jacked.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, I didn't know
Doesn't
that.
matter how tall you are. I'm like, no, he's not. You've seen him.
A texter
normal.
to 314-436-7900 asked the question. Couldn't hear the question that Pence was asked. And the question is, if Donald Trump is the nominee, would you vote for him or would you want to vote for him? Whatever. And he said,
oh, yeah.
There might
So
be
it
someone else.
Yeah, there might be somebody else.
And he did say might.
Yeah, I go. You guys weren't fans of The Office, right? You didn't watch it.
I did not. Not that I would. I think I would like it,
Yeah.
but
Well,
it's just not going to happen.
there's a meme where the scheming Dwight Schrute is
Yes.
looking through the blinds of an office. Like, you know how some offices have windows with blinds, and he's looking through the blinds, smiling mischievously because he knows his evil plan has worked as he looks out. And I just, for some reason, when Mike Pence said that, I pictured Ron DeSantis peeking through the blinds like, there might be someone else. Might I be that person?
What about Mike Pence thinks of DeSantis?
I don't know.
That's an interesting question.
Guess we're probably going to find out at some point.
There's a good
I mean,
chance.
pretty good chance you would think that, maybe not, but you would think he's going to endorse someone at the time, right? Or is he going to stay out of it? I don't know what the protocol is.
I don't know.
If you're a former VP, because everybody's like, this is my guy. No, this
We
is
don't
my
do
guy.
protocols anymore, Kevin. So everything's a free for all.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good thing. It's definitely
Probably
a good
not.
point.
I mean, if Captain Chaos likes it,
That's me.
yeah, that's you.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah.
I'm not like that.
You are Butters in disguise.
Oh, no, come on.
Who's Butters?
He's Captain Chaos.
Oh,
It's from South Park.
I just know Captain
It's a little
Chaos.
kid that dresses up in a superhero outfit and pretends to be the evil villain.
Oh.
Professor Chaos.
Oh, aren't we talking about Halloween
Professor
costumes
Chaos.
later?
Huh?
Oh, we are going to talk about
Halloween
Halloween costumes
costumes
later.
We are?
later.
It's already
Professor
October.
Chaos.
Hey, it's already October 20th, guys.
Dude.
Halloween's in a week and a half.
All right, that'll be coming up a little bit later on. Up next, we're going to be talking about Midtown redevelopment. Some really cool things happening there. I'll have a couple of guys in studio to talk about what they're doing. Next up on the show.
Accumulation, preservation, generation. At Busey Bank, These are the principles we use to build meaningful financial partnerships with our clients and their families. With sound advice and vast resources, partner with Busey for a personalized approach to your legacy. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
At Neovitin, our goal is to create safe, dependable multivitamins to support your everyday nutrition when you need it most. That's why we've formulated Neovitin 50 plus multivitamins with 20 daily ingredients, including B vitamins for energy support, vitamin C for immune support, and Dr. Abicki's 4-ingredient proprietary blend that you won't find in any other multivitamins. Neovitin 50 plus multivitamins come in 2 specifically designed formulas to help support your nutritional needs. Neovitin Men's 50 plus multivitamin for men 50 and older, and Neovitin Women's 50 plus multivitamin for women 50 and older. With a 4.8 out of 5-star rating on Trustpilot, you can be sure you are getting quality nutritional support with Neovitin. Support your best life today with Neovitin 50 plus multivitamins. Available at your local Dierbergs, Schnucks, and online with our easy-to-use monthly subscriptions at neovitin.com. That's NEOVITIN.com. Neovitin.com.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Sure, we all love to have a clean home, but what about the things that you can't see that are making your home dirty? I'm talking about germs, bacteria, mold, and more. This is Debbie Monterey, and you really need to call Beam of St. Louis if you want a truly healthy home. Beam of St. Louis can provide you with a whole house HEPA air filtration system that provides HEPA pure air 24/7 in every room in your home. It'll help reduce allergy symptoms without a prescription. For the healthiest home possible, make sure you have a Beam Central Vacuum System. It removes 100% of the collected germs, bacteria, mold, and dust. So, a Beam Central Vacuum System and a Beam Whole House HEPA air filtration system. The folks at Beam of St. Louis are great to work with, fantastic customer service, one-day installation. Give them a call at 314-567-1515 or online at beamstl.com. That's Beam of St. Louis. You'll be glad you called.
Are you concerned about higher taxes, soaring inflation, and what's next for the stock market? Don't miss Your Retirement Professors this Saturday afternoon at 1 on St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
Becco's new dishwashers use 1/3 the energy and half the water of U.S. standards for dishwashers. And from now until December 31st, you can save up to $200 in gift card rebates on eligible models. Visit Becco.com for more details. That's Becco.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news, KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, we have sunny skies. It's 54 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel. Congresswoman Cori Bush will host an emergency virtual press briefing today following the discovery of radioactive bomb waste on and under the grounds of Jana Elementary School. Before being elected, the Congresswoman had been working to clean up Coldwater Creek. In July, she secured $500,000 to the Department of Science through the appropriations to study the health effects of low-level radiation on humans. Jana Elementary was not even tested until parents stepped in.
Dr. Marco Kaltofen of Boston Chemical says the Army Corps of Engineers never did a study on Jana Elementary, even with the knowledge that nearby Coldwater Creek was contaminated with radioactive lead.
If the Army Corps testing had also done inside the school or the parts of the school grounds where most of the students and staff spend their outside time, I probably never would have been there to do that report.
He says the biggest focus of the study was the creek, which found heavy rains, which would cause it to flood, sloshing World War II era atomic bomb contaminants onto the school property. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
In Britain, conservative lawmakers say they're confident a new leadership election can be held next week, putting the wheels in motion for a new prime minister to be in place by Halloween. It all follows the resignation of Liz Truss, who is stepping down after a 45-day tenure at 10 Downing Street. Graham Brady heads the party's 1922 committee and is confident an election can be held by next Friday. The wife of an American diplomat has pleaded guilty to causing the death of a teenager while driving carelessly in England. CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick.
The case led to diplomatic tension between Britain and the U.S. 19-year-old Harry Dunn was killed when his motorcycle was hit by a car driven by Anne Sakulis in 2019. She was driving on the wrong side of the road near an Air Force base. Her husband was a U.S. intelligence officer at the base, and they left Britain shortly afterward, claiming diplomatic immunity. She will now be sentenced in November with a maximum jail term of 5 years.
Colleges and universities getting some unwelcome news.
A report from the National Student Clearinghouse shows enrollment down at U.S. colleges and universities for the third year in a row. The latest drop, 1.1%, isn't nearly as steep as the record 6.5% decline over the first 2 years of the pandemic. Hardest hit, for-profit institutions in the Midwest and Northeast. Enrollments picked up at online schools and at historically Black colleges. It remains steady at the most prestigious schools and public flagship universities. Education experts say there's no single reason for the drop-off, but the pandemic and the economy are certainly factors. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
A Massachusetts woman facing multiple assault and battery charges, accused of releasing a swarm of bees on sheriff's deputies as they tried to serve an eviction notice. The First Mid-Bank and Trust Business Desk, a popular pasta maker, is embroiled in a lawsuit.
Sei pronto? The Barilla box may boast it's Italy's #1 brand, but the pasta's not actually made there anymore. A federal judge has denied the company's motion to dismiss a class action lawsuit, accusing Barilla of misleading consumers. Despite the signature blue, red, and green boxes that take their cue from the Italian flag and the catchy claim of authenticity, Barilla is now based in Illinois and no longer uses Italian wheat exclusively. The company originated as a bread and pasta shop in Italy. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
The Dow from Stifel is up 224 points at 30,648. A stalled vehicle 270 northbound at Tesson Ferry Road. It's on the right shoulder. And taking a look at the KMOX forecast, it is sponsored by Reinhold Flooring.
All about sunshine as we
having a problem with Dave Murray there. Look for very warm conditions this afternoon. Clear to partly cloudy tonight. Overnight low of 50 after we hit a high around 70. Right now it's sunny and 54 degrees downtown at the Arch. Want beautiful first-class flooring at a competitive price? Call Reinhold Flooring. With professional craftsmen and a knowledgeable, caring sales staff, that helped earn them St. Louis Magazine's best flooring store 2 years in a row. Set up a free in-home measure and consultation at ReinholdFlooring.com. I'm Carol Daniel, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than $4? 314-441-4444.
All right, coming up 11:05 on the show, Chris Ranji, Amy Mark scores, Kevin Wheeler with you. We obviously spent a lot of showtime talking over really loud music.
Which is not a problem for you.
Listen, I love Van Halen too, and I am loud, so it's not that big of a deal. Just wanted to make sure everybody else would
He
get
might
through
be
there.
the loudest person that our two guests have ever talked to.
It
Yes.
may be
In the
yeah.
world.
I'm one of them. It's me and Chris Kerber, I think. The two of us are like competing for
yeah.
the title. But we obviously spend a lot of time talking about good and bad things that are happening in and around the city. And want to talk about some good things. We have a couple of guests in studio to help us with that. Brooks Goedeker is with us, Executive Director of the St. Louis Midtown Redevelopment Corporation, and Sean Wade here as well, the Treasurer of the Gate District West Neighborhood Association, also a member of the Citizens Advisory Committee of Redevelopment Corporation. So you guys are in to talk a bit about what's happening in Midtown, which is a lot. Where should we start? Because it feels like there are a list of things we should be getting to. Where do you want to start, Brooks?
Yeah, just the history of it real quick is it started up in March 2017. Dr. Postello, the president of St. Louis University, when he came to campus 8 years ago, he said, well, SLU's campus is beautiful. What's going on around the campus? This is, supposed to be a midtown here. Where is all the retail and entertainment and, jobs in that? So he really set out with his team to go ahead and form this redevelopment corporation. So they began working with the city and the state and got off the ground in March 2017. And 5 years later, we got a lot going on.
Where should we start with that? I mean,
Yeah.
should we start with
Yeah.
Top Golf? Should we where do we want to go first?
Well, I think that, the first thing that, really, just put us on the map here is a City Foundry, and what Steve Smith did there is just amazing. I'm taking that 15-acre vacant industrial, really wasteland that had been vacant since 2006, and converting it to what it is now is just super exciting. It's way past whatever we dreamt for that area.
Really, really nice there. Can I ask you a follow-up to, I remember, and this was a while ago, so I apologize. There was a plan for a path to connect Forest Park to downtown, and it
To
would
the Arch,
run
right?
through Midtown.
Yeah.
Yep, all the way to the Arch. Where are we with that?
Yeah, thanks for asking about that. So both St. Louis University and SSM Health are partners for it. I'm very excited for this to happen. Great Rivers Greenway is the sponsor, the lead of what is now called the Brick Line Greenway, coming from Forest Park all the way to the Arch Grounds riverfront, and that kind of midpoint line where it goes north and south and east and west goes right through Midtown, goes right through our redevelopment area.
It's so awesome. I mean, that's
yeah.
so great. Think of all the people, the runners, the walkers, the bikers in Forest Park.
But mostly the runners.
But mostly the runners, and mostly me.
This was
is
an
a
Amy
selfish-
question.
this was- I'm like, you can park, you can go to the Foundry, you can get coffee, you can go visit Forest Park. To have connection between those areas as just a main artery is such a big deal.
Where exactly is that path, though? Does it run down Forest Park Avenue? Is it?
So the way that it will come out is it's actually just south of IKEA. So
Okay.
it will go along Clayton Avenue there, and then it's supposed to go ahead and across the viaduct, the kind of abandoned train trestle tracks, across Vandeventer, right into the City Foundry. From the City Foundry, then going south on Spring Street into to the Armory District, and then north on Spring Street through Grand Center, and then all the way to North City.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Sean, how does this work, kind of laying this out? Like, and there's has to be a lot of conversation about the how. Like, how do we all know we want all these great things, but there is a lot of how to figuring out what steps make sense, and then of course what will work and what won't.
Well, we wouldn't be America without meetings. So we have a lot of meetings.
That is such a great
No.
We love meetings.
Yeah, we just had one
A lot of
yesterday.
meetings. That's how it works. Just meet with people,
Yeah.
city leaders, with the Redevelopment Corporation, neighbors, which is part of what I am involved with. And Amy, I hope she's taking notes because I want her to have that route down pat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
see
so
you
excited.
walking, but I won't be running.
That's kind of what I was
But yeah,
trying
a
to work
lot-
my way to, was the idea that there are a lot of people that have opinions about this. You mentioned the people that live in the area too. They obviously benefit from this, but certainly there's going to be questions and things you have to sort through, right?
Right. We sort through questions. What we love about working with the Redevelopment Corporation is that we are involved intricately with the process. So they ask us our opinions, what the building should look like, how does the traffic flow, what's going to be beneficial for residents, what kind of people will come into our neighborhood that we expect to come in for residency, for everything from restaurants to grocery stores to, keep asking me what I like, Target, things like that, things like that we don't currently have in our neighborhood. It's great for home value. Just there's a lot of things that we talk about, and they've been really good partners. In addition to our alderwoman, who keeps us involved and keeps the best interests of our neighborhood as well in the forefront.
Then we talked about that path, the Greenway from Forest Park all the way down to the Arch. We know the Foundry continues to expand. We've got the restaurants in the Foundry, that Alamo Cinema.
Yes.
Is that what it's called? Right?
Yes.
Like that's
Yes.
opening up soon too.
Yes, in November. So we're really excited about that. Who doesn't like to go to the movies? I think we're opening back up. We want to go back in, and it's going to be an experience that we don't have here in the St. Louis area. So we're looking forward to putting our feet up maybe a little bit more, but having food and drinks right in our front. So that's going to be exciting. We have Putt Shack, I think it's what it's called. So we're going to be able to do some golf that's not included Top Golf. So that's saving the best for last. But we're all excited about the things that are going to be happening. It's family friendly, generating jobs, revenue for the city. It's going to be awesome. So we're looking forward to it.
Well, let's talk about Top Golf because that's a big one. And that's one that anybody who's gone to the Chesterfield Valley and played, even if you don't really like golf, and I'm not the biggest golfer in the world, but that is a fun place.
Neither was I until I went there.
Right?
I just thought, no, you can't do it. But you just swing a little bit.
Yeah,
and
you don't have to be good.
Play a little bit, eat a little bit, drink a little bit.
And now to have that in Midtown.
Yes. We're actually excited about that. What I just explained to Brooks in another meeting was that this is not going to be just for our location and our neighborhood. It's going to bring in folks from the Metro East who Chesterfield is so far for them
Yes.
sometimes to get to, especially if you're having fun and engaging in a few cocktails. We want them to be safe to be able to go
Yeah.
back home. So the Metro East is going to draw attention not only to that community, but it's going to bridge those communities, our communities together and give them a different place to come in the city of St. Louis. So we're excited about that too.
Yeah, with Top Golf in the fields of Chester, as I like to call them. That's a long drive for people. Maybe if they're coming off of work, there's traffic. It's harder to get out west. To have this right here in Midtown will be such a benefit for everyone who's kind of east of that 270 corridor. And then also, we talk about getting feet downtown, midtown. We know Forest Park, to have such a vibrant center in between all of that, where people
Yes.
can go to Top Golf and then go to the Blues game, or
Right.
you've got the MLS team coming all along that main artery.
I think Top Golf will be the connection, but once they see Top Golf, then there's other things that's nearby. So they'll see Alamo, they'll see the putt putt center, they'll see all of the other things that the community is doing. That's just the draw is Top Golf, but there's so many other amenities.
How does all of this tie into City coming on board and the MLS coming into town? I'm assuming this started before all of that was known, but I'm guessing that was at least somewhere in the back of everybody's minds, and it's a part of the centerpiece, really. And what a visual centerpiece for everything that's happening around there.
Yeah, so I worked in the Grove in the Central West End for 15 years, and we were really missing that connection from the Grove and the Central West End to downtown. So it was kind of, you thought of as downtown West and Midtown really is this donut hole. And now that donut hole is, of course, being filled. The MLS stadium is beautiful. It's amazing. The Taylor family is amazing. And all of it is aligned. I think you're going to see people going to Top Golf before and after the games. You're going to see them going to the food hall. You're going to see them just going to the city and, having all these different great experiences.
What does the timeline look like? When will people be swinging golf clubs at Top Golf?
Yeah, so Top Golf's pretty amazing. It's only a 12-month construction period. So
Wow.
we will be ready to go at this time next year.
Wow.
If you drive by the site now, we just passed it on the way here. It's, fully under construction. Demo is happening there. Target will also be open in December 2023. So we've got a lot coming on, a lot of new sales tax revenue that's going to be here for the city, and just hundreds of more jobs also.
And all of this is going to be with a Top Golf Target all south of 40, right? 6440.
Correct. Yeah. So it's a great location right in the middle of in the middle of Interstate 44 and 64. Just very easy to get to. We're working on a lot of pedestrian activity, connections to all of it. So it's going to be very walkable. It's a new day for Midtown.
So any thriving neighborhood is constantly there's constant change, and there's addition, and businesses leave, new ones come in. So there's always going to be different things that happen. But what do you envision as the end game for that part of the city?
Yeah, I think that's great that the Redevelopment Corporation is here, because we are making sure as the master developer that everything is complementary as part of it. So the City Foundry, the Armory developers, now with Top Golf, we have Steel Coat Square there. All these different developers and investors realize that we're all in this together. So we go ahead and we meet and we talk about safety and security and marketing and beautification, and we clean up the streets on twice a week, and we're adding new trash cans and those things. So we're all in this together, and doing whatever we can to go ahead and support the businesses that are there, and again making sure that it's complementary.
What about the residential side? People may be thinking of moving within a year or two, whether it is, young single people, young families. What should they be on the lookout for as far as residential development goes?
Well, first, I hope nobody moves because we don't want people to move out, right? We want people to move in.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
I mean
we're
moving towards the area.
Yes. We want
Moving
people to
to-
yes, we
yeah,
want
yeah.
people to move in. Well, we definitely have new construction in our neighborhood as well for homes. We have single family homes. We have apartments that are going up, still code and everywhere above Target. There will be new apartments. we want it to be affordable. So we're going to have both affordable and some high end because our homes are not cheap, right? So we want to do a combination of things, but it's going to be great. The end game for us are no vacancies.
Living above a Target.
Would be
That would dangerous.
awesome and dangerous. Yeah.
Yes.
Me
Oh my
personally, I don't want to live above Target. I want to just go
Oh.
in and go out. But
I kind of do because then you don't have
just
to
take the elevator
don't
right
take
down.
the elevator right down or
yeah,
whatever.
Let's
so
go.
yeah, I have on
Wreck
pink
my
today,
life,
so I should
Target.
have wore red.
I'm into it.
And the moving question, I'm hilarious because I'm so selfish in these interviews because I think of me. I'm looking for new apartments, obviously. So I'm thinking, should I
just give me a call?
Yeah.
There you go. Maybe you've got an in right there.
I know. That's
Perfect.
me asking selfish questions.
it's okay.
Say you're a single lady looking for an
Yeah.
apartment.
Yeah.
Directly above Target. Where
Yeah,
do you look
directly
for
above
something like
Target.
that?
Somebody who just might want to run from Forest Park to the
Yeah.
Arch and back again 6 times.
That's
in
right.
one
Every
run.
question benefits you.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
question you've
That's
asked
okay.
today.
I don't-
Unbelievable.
Ron, it's all right. It benefits all of us. It's okay.
That's right. It benefits me because I'm in that neighborhood too.
This is an SNL skit, the selfish interviewer.
Yeah.
Just get to know us. Get to know us. We'll help you out.
Oh, well, Brooks and Sean, thank you guys for popping in. We appreciate
you.
it. Keep up the great work. Keep us updated on changes, and we'll look forward to talking to you guys again soon.
Guys, have a great day.
All right,
Great.
we appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having us.
Brooks Goedeker in studio with us, Executive Director of the St. Louis Midtown Redevelopment Corporation. Sean Wade in as well, the Treasurer of the Gate District West Neighborhood Association, and, of course, with the Citizen Advisory Committee for the Redevelopment Corporation. We got a lot of things to build off of from that. I'm certainly sure we're going to be doing some show outings at the very least at Top Golf to see, well, I was going to say to see which one of us can hit the ball the furthest, but it's between you and me, Ranj. Well,
No, Amy's going to
Rude.
fall in the net.
as Amy might do the
She'll
thing where
fall
the
in the
club
net.
goes flying
Yeah.
out into the range area. We'll test that out later. Coming up next, we're going to talk about we're talking about potentially someone posing as me in Florida.
Oh.
What?
Yeah,
Who would
yeah.
want to do that?
I don't know, but we're going to get into it next on the show.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Men suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, regardless of age or past medical history, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Paramount Men's Medical Center. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. Call now 314-720-8081.
If you're concerned about the current market and the 40-year record high inflation that we're seeing, you're not alone.
Credit card usage skyrocketing and at record highs, savings rates plunging. It's 100% certainty that you're in recession now.
The good news is, for decades, Steve All and his team have been helping people just like you protect and grow your income. And most importantly, not run out of money.
My clients that are currently sitting there on guaranteed incomes, they're not really worried about what's happening in the market. So they're more at peace because every month that paycheck comes in.
Call Steve today for your customized market protection plan, 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or visit yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
It's simple math. Rising prices equals tighter family budgets. I'm Katie Stewart. I'm a mom and a math teacher. In Springfield, I cut grocery taxes, froze gas taxes, and delivered income tax credits for working families. I helped pass measures to crack down on price gouging by drug companies to lower healthcare costs. I'm investing in vocational training to train workers for high-paying jobs like welders and carpenters that pay $35 or more an hour. I'm Katie Stewart. My opponent, Jennifer Cordy, has said victims of rape who choose to have an abortion will regret it later. Cordy is for a total ban on choice in Illinois. I'll protect a woman's right to choose, no matter what happens in Washington. It's why Planned Parenthood supports me. I'm Katie Stewart, candidate for state representative. I'm not a politician. I follow numbers, and our community is always first. Paid for by Friends for Katie Stewart.
The St. Louis Symphony Orchestra is checking in to the Bates Motel as Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho comes to the big screen at Powell Hall for an evening of spine-tingling and hair-raising terror. From the shrieking strings and the slashing chords, the SLSO performs Bernard Herrmann's suspenseful score live and intensifies this black and white psychological thriller. Join in on our costume contest or sip on a Halloween-themed cocktail before the concert on October 30th. Tickets at slso.org.
Here's one thing you can do to beautify your property and help prevent stormwater pollution. Create a rain garden. Rain gardens help reduce polluted stormwater from entering waterways, which can hurt both water quality and the wildlife that inhabit them, and prevent water overflows. Excessive runoff can erode banks and increase flooding. Visit msdprojectclear.org to find out more about rain gardens and your flood risk. Know your zone. This One Thing message brought to you by MSD Project Clear. What's your one thing?
Carol Daniel for the Doctor's Doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Take a look around you, your wife, or the highway right in front of you. We use our eyes to take in the world around us, but if you have a disease of the eye like glaucoma or itchy eye, or like my husband, you suffer from dry eye, seeing the world around you is a little more difficult. Dry eye can impact your vision at night. It can cause burning of the eye. Call Ophthalmology Associates at 314-966-5000 to set up your appointment today. I was so glad to go see the Doctor's Doctors at Ophthalmology Associates at 12990 Manchester Road. What a friendly staff and a thorough exam by Dr. Greg Birdie. There's a reason they're called the Doctor's Doctors, because they've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any other practice. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer, experts in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. Ophthalmology Associates. Call 314-966-5000 or learn more online at youridoc.com.
We go where you go. 1120 AM, 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
All right, guys. So I wake up this morning, getting ready to come into the show, and I look down and I see on my phone that my dad had called me at 5:45 a.m. Now, I don't know if it's a good thing that I didn't hear it ringing. I slept right through that and did not hear my phone ringing. But my dad calls. I saw that he called. Did not leave a voicemail.
No, I don't like that at all.
I don't like that.
I just saw 5:45 a.m. So he's in Eastern time zone. So it's 6:45 him, which is not super weird. My dad's an early morning dude, and sometimes he just like reaches out and dials and doesn't think where the other person lives and whether they're asleep or not. This has been my life for 40 years.
Just, you know what, Kevin, it's not even so much, I'm afraid you're going to wake me up. I have instituted with my mother a no call zone.
Oh, I've tried.
So
I've tried.
It's after 9 o'clock or 9:30, and it's before, obviously, in the morning, you know,
Yeah.
because if she calls in that window, something's wrong.
Yeah, see,
That's why they're not allowed.
well, see, I
Yep.
tried to establish that with my dad. My dad is the base runner that just ignores the third base coach and keeps going.
Doesn't even look.
No, I didn't even look. But you will say, you know, it was not that long ago. I mean, we're not a year out. We're still only about 9 or 10 months removed from my mom having a really serious heart attack, having open heart surgery, and all that. So a 5:45 a.m. call, you look and you're like,
yep.
Oh no.
Yep.
And then I texted him like, did you mean to call me? Because I get the butt dial probably once or twice a week. I'm like, oh, did you mean to call me? And he's like, yeah, are you up? I'm like, oh crap.
No.
So he calls me, and this is the story that he tells me. He called me at 5:45 because at 5:40 he got a call from their place in Florida, from the community that they live in, because they split the year. They live part of the year in Michigan, part of the year in Florida, and they haven't gone back to Florida for the cool season yet. They'll probably do that here soon. So he gets a call from the security group there, the security desk there, saying, "Hey, we just let your son in." Your son Kevin into, because it's a gated community.
But
you
Kevin,
have to get through the gate.
You're not in Florida.
I'm not in Florida.
You're here.
And that's why he called me, because here's what my dad said he called me to see if I was in Florida. I'm like, you would have known if I was going to your place when you're not there. Anyway, that was his test. So when I didn't answer, he's like, oh yeah, he's not up in the morning in Florida, which of course I wasn't. I'm here doing work. But so it turns out that somebody was let in at the gate saying they were me.
Oh.
That seems not ideal.
No. So there are a bunch of problems with this. I mean, you can just kind of walk through them, right? Okay, first of all, someone is using my name. Now, you're supposed to show ID at this gate to get let in if you're not a resident. If you're a resident, you have your own pass. It just buzzes you open and you go through. So you're supposed to show ID. So if someone is showing ID that says they're me, this is a really big problem.
That's not good.
We're trying to figure. So nobody that I know knows where my parents live. So this isn't somebody that I've told anything, because I've never told anybody like specifically where they live or what community or even anything like that. So it may be something I told my dad. Maybe it's somebody that knows you, who knows my name, and because I'm your son, and then they are playing games. Anyway, they checked the house. Nobody broke into anything. Everything's fine. Police went over. Everything's good. But they're still trying to solve what the heck's going on there. And, of course, my dad being the detective that he is with no detective experience, but he knows how to figure things out. It's like, I bet it's somebody that's working at the gate that just let someone in that they know to do something, and they just used a name that had been on the guest list in the past. I'm like, all right, but I haven't been down there in 9 months. You would think there would be a more recent guest you would have buzzed in, like, somebody that doesn't live there. You would think there'd been somebody closer. But either way, they're looking at it. They're investigating it. Thankfully, this gate has like security cameras and everything. So they're going to see exactly who this person was, or at least the license plate of the car that they were driving.
I don't like this, Kevin.
I don't either, but
I don't like anything about this.
but
This
I'm
sounds bad.
I'm not as worried about this being a case of someone stealing my identity. I'm worried more about this kind of affecting my parents and somebody that knows who they are taking advantage.
What do we need to do? We got to go down.
Let's suit up.
We're going to have to go. Yeah, let's go.
Super Friends. Activate.
Amy's not involved.
What?
Yeah, she's not going to help.
You're the fast one. You're the
She's
Flash.
a
You have to
liability.
help.
Yeah, she'll run away. She's a liability.
All right, you and me then, Raj.
All right, let's go.
We go down there as the Blues
We're going
Brothers.
to
and
save
sort
the
this thing out.
Wheelers.
All right, hey, speaking of that, my parents, we're going to be talking about aging coming up next on the show.
Dave Glover, never afraid to share an opinion.
I don't think that any group or person or candidate or party gets to claim we're the patriots or we love our country and you don't.
Ready to discuss issues.
We really need to have an honest conversation about that.
The Dave Glover Show. News, information, great talk, and so much more.
So if you're sick of listening to people fight about politics, if you just want to have a good time in the afternoon, give me a shot.
The Dave Glover Show. Weekdays at 2 on KMOX.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Bianna's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
The Musial Awards return to Stiefel Theater this fall. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event Saturday, November 19th. Named for Stan the Man, the awards celebrate those who embody extraordinary sportsmanship. Come walk the red carpet and experience the most inspiring night in sports. It's a show you don't want to miss and a perfect way to kick off the holiday season. The Musial Awards, presented by Maryville University, Saturday, November 19th. Tickets at musialawards.com.
What started as a small, dedicated group helping a handful of nonprofits has blossomed into a movement that addresses the needs of our entire region. 100 years later, this movement is woven into the fabric of this community, a movement rooted in collectively helping each other, transforming lives, and making the St. Louis region a better place. That is the United Way. Learn more, helpingpeople.org.
At 11:30, we have sunny skies and 56 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel. An Afghan couple who arrived in the U.S. as refugees suing a U.S. Marine and his wife for allegedly abducting their baby. The baby was injured in a U.S. military raid that killed her parents and 5 siblings and was being raised as a daughter by her newlywed adult cousin and his wife. Unbeknownst to this Afghan couple, court records say U.S. Marine Joshua Mast and his wife adopted the child in a Virginia court. Mast helped the family flee during the chaotic withdrawal of U.S. troops. At the beginning, Vladimir Putin said it wasn't a war. He still says that now, and he calls it a special military operation in most every sense of the term, though Russia's war in Ukraine is precisely that. The deadly attacks are reverberating back home. They can be far-reaching. Many are leaving Russia, young men who have been called into a draft. Police are looking for a Mississippi man after a shooting at a St. Charles hotel. A 40-year-old survived being shot 3 times at the Comfort Inn and Suites yesterday morning. St. Charles police say they're looking for 26-year-old Kyrie Caldwell of Mississippi as the doer of the shooting. Police say he's driving an orange 2020 Dodge Charger with a black stripe. License plate number 2901N as in Nancy 11. He's considered armed and dangerous. If you see snowplows out today, it's not your imagination. It's the MoDOT winter operations drill. MoDOT's Michelle Forneris wants drivers to be patient with the plows today and this winter because
MoDOT is nearly 30% below statewide, or roughly 1,000 employees statewide, short of meeting the staffing need to cover more than one shift in a statewide storm.
That means it may take 24 hours or more for some roads to be cleared this winter. They're going to focus first on interstates and major routes. There's a stalled vehicle 70 westbound at Union. It's on the right shoulder, and a stalled 270 northbound at Tesson Ferry Road, also on the right shoulder. The KMOX forecast, sponsored by St. Louis City SC. This afternoon, sunny and warmer, the high around 70, clear to partly cloudy tonight, the low of 50. Even warmer tomorrow with plenty of sunshine Friday, the high 81. Right now, it is sunny and 56 degrees downtown at the Arch. The new MLS club is now hiring stadium employees for their historic inaugural season. To work for St. Louis's professional soccer team, visit stlcitysc.com/jobs. That's stlcitysc.com/jobs. I'm Carol Daniel, KMOX News.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Like a personal shopper, Health Markets can find a Medicare Advantage plan that's right for you. Enrollment ends December 7th. Visit healthmarkets.com/easy. Health Markets Insurance Agency, Inc. is licensed as an insurance agency in all 50 states and D.C. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service and product availability varies by state. Sales agents may be compensated based on a consumer's enrollment in a health plan. No obligation to enroll. Information provided is limited to plans offered in your area. Contact Medicare.gov or 1-800-Medicare. TTY users should call 1-877-486-2048 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for information. We do not offer every plan available in your area. Any information we provide is limited to those plans we do offer in your area.
Your home of the Cardinals.
Arenado swings and hits it deep to left field. That ball is out of here.
The Billikens.
Jumper. Yes! Billikens win!
The Chiefs.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
We are America's sports voice. KMOX.
It's 11:34 on the show. Chris Ranji's laughing. Amy Marks, of course, is laughing. I was until I had to put my headphones on.
Oh, sorry. We
had a funny voicemail.
We just listened to our voicemail from that guy who's.
By the way, 314-944-1120.
Yeah. He said Amy Marks Kors. What did he call you?
Well, he said that I claim to be a Republican, but all I do is attack Republicans.
That's right.
And
she never attacks Democrats.
But I did. I attacked the Democrats, I think.
It's okay, Amy.
Well, and I'm Chris Mangy.
Yeah.
I thought it was rangy.
No, I think he says mangy. He's very clever for an older person. Not that older people can't be clever, because they can.
Hey, guess what we're talking about?
They can. They can be totally clever.
Guess what we're talking about?
And a lot of times they are, because they have a lot of life experience.
So we had a guest on yesterday on Total Information AM that was covering this topic about aging. And again, one of the main takeaways was kind of one of the it's one of the things that how we've talked about many times in different areas of health, that your mental approach, your ability to stay positive about some things can help you recover, can help you stay healthier, can help you build better habits. And that was a big part of the interview that we had yesterday here on KMOX. And it was a simple, if you have a positive attitude about aging, you're more likely to stay involved in the activities that are going to help you age a little bit more gracefully. And here's just a clip describing that.
And what we know across the various decades of life is that individuals who have more positive views of aging, in fact, have better health behaviors and live longer. So there's something about internalizing negative messages about aging that lead people to then live lives that end up being shortened due to health concerns.
So that's Ann Steffen. She's a professor of clinical psychology at UMSL and was on Total Information AM yesterday talking about it. Which I think that makes sense, right, guys? I mean, generally speaking, positive attitudes lead to better behaviors, lead to more activity. And I know it's one of my, now that I am getting older, now that I'm 50, I feel like I'm doing into that George Carlin routine. Now that I'm an old man, or old blank, the way that he put it. But I do think about that, and I look at like my dad, who's extremely active, like he never stops. And I look at we have a bunch of aunts and uncles in the families that are in their 80s, and they're all these happy people that are busy and playing golf and doing things. And I think just from my own observations, this definitely holds up, right? Like if you're just in general, you're gonna if you're doing happier things, if you're staying engaged, you're gonna be less.
I know it's such a cliche, right, to say that age is just a number or it's whatever you have in your head, but a lot of that, to a point, is true. I know people who started, quote unquote, giving up. I'm getting old when they were in their 30s. I mean,
absolutely.
Just like they give up. Like, well, I am 30, and then 40 is over the hill. You can't possibly have any meaning in life anymore because you're 40. All of that is ridiculous. I wouldn't want to go back to 25, honestly. Maybe a lot of people would.
I would like to recover from things like I did when I was 25.
It's mainly
I don't want
sleep.
a bruise to last for 3 weeks. It'd be nice to have that go away in a day or two.
You bruise faster?
Longer.
Or longer?
Longer. Yeah.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
I don't think I've noticed that.
Absolutely.
either.
I would say it probably started about 5 or 6 years ago, Ron. So get ready.
Oh, great.
Yeah. The only thing I've noticed is
Wonder how
sleep.
big my bruises are going to get.
It's not
Why
that,
you guys so
that
bruised?
I don't know that they're well. I mean,
Now Kevin's making me think about bruises.
I get hit by baseballs a lot. Just happens sometimes.
Well, I don't happen to be in a line of work where I'm getting hit by baseballs much.
No, so you're probably going to be less.
So I
bruised
think I'll
than
be
me.
okay.
But the point is that, like, I would love to be 25 and recover from an injury, or just
Sure.
wake up with that level of energy, or
Yeah.
just be able to do. But I mean, like mentally, I wouldn't, because there's that fine line between like what's going on upstairs and what you know and understand and what you've experienced guiding your decisions versus 25. You're like, I don't know what to do.
But what about because I know she talked about Ashley Bernaw, is that her name? Bernaw, is that who we're talking? Oh no, Dr. Stefan. It was Dr. Stefan who was talking about that. Does she, because I know she mentioned the idea of joking about getting
About
older.
age, yes.
Yes, and how that may not be a good thing.
Okay, so let's play the clip, because this is the part. Like, I think the first part that we talked about totally makes sense.
Yep.
It just rings true with experience. We've seen other studies that say these things. Positive attitudes have positive results and to help you longer term. But she got into talking about the humor surrounding aging.
Yeah.
And obviously everybody at some level jokes about their own age, because it's part of how you cope with whatever you don't like. But here's what Dr. Stefan had to say about that.
Humor is a wonderful trait, and the extent that we can make light of things that are important to us and that are changes, and that it can get the conversation started. I think the negative part of humor is the proportion of birthday cards out there that equate aging with inevitable decline. So that message that to age is to lose things, to age is to decline, as opposed from the research, is that there are as many benefits and opportunities for growth in aging as there are areas of change that are on the negative end.
So I think that last part makes sense. I agree, but I'm not sure that the greeting card industry is hurting people as we age, because like the jokes, I got all the jokes when I turned 50. Oh, have 100. I mean, it's part of the fun and understanding that it doesn't really matter, which is why people are joking.
And there is a decline, a physical decline, not necessarily that you can't be in better shape when you're 50 than when you were 40, but overall, as we get older, your bodies age and have some negative effects, and it can be funny.
I think what she's saying, though, and I get it, because I can't, I mean, obviously none of us are totally dismissing what she's saying, but I think that what she's getting at is jokes are jokes, right? But there's always some truth in every joke. At least they say that. And I don't know if that's always accurate, but the more you hear a joke, even if it's like, ha ha, no big deal, if you hear that kind of thing over and over and over again, it sort of compounds the idea, or it can compound the idea that once you turn 40 or once you turn 50, well, it's over. Like, even if you're joking, there's part of you that maybe says, oh, that kind of is, I'm 50. Maybe it's over. And that's not true for everybody, but I think it is true for a lot of people. You just hear that sort of thing consistently, and even if they are in good humor, it kind of builds up, like plaque in your heart, that kind of thing, right?
There you
It
go, making a joke about all of us that are getting older, Ron.
See?
Well,
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I will say there's different elements of it because, again, you can be active and you can run and live a fulfilling lifestyle. And we all know people who are 80 years old who are more active than we are now. I mean, you can do that. There are elements of things that can hit insecurities or maybe be a little hurtful. I will say, like, as a woman, we have an obsession with youth, and there's kind of this understanding that, well, if you're a woman, attractive woman, whatever it may be, you become invisible at a certain age. I mean, that's a huge part of society. It's why even in Hollywood, leading men are always leading men. Leading women are the girlfriends and then the moms of the leading women. Like Harrison Ford is somehow always dating someone who's between the age of 25 and 32. Like, it's just the way it is.
Sometimes in real life. Well, not in his case, he's married, but
Yeah.
she's a lot younger, though.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid is dating someone from St. Louis who's like 25. They're engaged.
Oh.
Yeah. So, there is that, and that's a real thing. And I think that's something that we should change. I don't think that's healthy because I know a lot of women will say, yeah, it's so weird. I feel like the same person, but I've become invisible to society if you're not that, young, 25-year-old girl. And that is something that's real. But overall, like the George Carlin jokes about aging and the decline, it's funny.
Well, see, this is the thing. There are stereotypes that are not true because most stereotypes are not true of everyone. There might be true here and there. And there are things that where people allow bias to affect like normal everyday life. I mean, ageism is a thing. It does exist. There are people that are mean about it. There are people that will be dismissive of someone because of their age. And by the way, that also happens on the other end of the spectrum. Well, you're too young to understand or whatever. I mean, I think that is a thing that we should be aware of. But the jokes are not that, right? Like the greeting cards are not that.
No.
Those things definitely exist. What you described, Amy, absolutely exists.
Right.
These things are real. And I hear it, I'm not the age yet where I'm like my dad, where my dad's 74, they're both, my mom and dad, about to turn 75. And they will talk about occasionally people maybe almost treating them like their kids when they're walking them through something at a store or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that that's definitely something to be careful with.
They're old, not dumb.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Right. Well, this is the thing. Like, it's funny you bring that up because but my dad used to do this different thing where my friend from France, who when we were young, he would come to visit and he doesn't speak perfect English, but he understands everything. And my dad would do the Tarzan talk to him.
Oh,
He'd be like, "Do you want food?"
Yeah.
And he would yell it. He would be like, really? And my dad was doing this when he was in his 40s and 50s, not when he's, not as a, so it's funny seeing he gets mad about it when it happens, but I'm like, that's what you did to Emmanuel, man. It's exactly, but for a different reason, obviously. You're trying to be helpful. I think that's the point. People are trying to be helpful, but you don't always want to make it seem like everybody needs help or anything along those lines. But, but sometimes you don't want to be the jerk that doesn't offer help.
We had a funny realization. So my group, running group, it goes up to, I think, like 55, 56. But a lot of us, are in our mid to late 40s. And we have some younger runners joined our group, and they were like 23 and 24 years old, and they run with us. And it hit us that the age gap between the 23, 24, and 25-year-olds who joined us and our ages collectively maybe being 48, say, we were the silver sneakers to this younger group. The silver sneakers is like the senior citizens exercise group at the YMCA.
Jeez.
And it's called silver sneakers, I guess, silver hair, all of that. So we see the silver sneakers and think these people are considerably older than we are, but they're looking at us like the silver sneakers. We're the silver sneakers.
That's it. We are. I mean, again, I've made these observations before, but like I'm now the same age I was. I'm now the same age my father-in-law was when I first started dating my wife. And it was weird because to me, oh my God, 50-year-old guy, getting there. And now I'm the 50-year-old guy. I'm like, oh, that's not so bad.
Not so bad.
Not so bad. We actually had a text a minute ago and says, try being 65.
Yeah.
LOL, whole different view. And I'm like, well, I'm hoping to find out.
But isn't it funny, though? When I was 30, I remember thinking, wow, getting old. And then I realized, I'm like, wow, 40 is not so bad. And I'm every time you hit a decade, when you're 40, you think 30 is really young.
Yes.
When you're 50, you think 40 is really young. We should probably just enjoy it while we're there.
Yeah, and I've said this to you guys before. When I see a 25-year-old on their birthday, do that thing where, oh no, I'm a quarter of a century old.
Oh my God.
Like to try and make it sound like I want to bury them in sand.
My kid did that this past spring when she turned 25.
That's it.
And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
You know what you should do? Take her out of the will.
I told.
You'd be like, hey, you're out of the will now.
I am not a vindictive old.
Oh, I will be.
Yeah.
You're vindictive young.
I will say this though.
You know me.
And I think one of the reasons why the aging jokes end up being funny, or why we can all identify, because this is the one thing I think that every person, or the vast majority of people, wants to be. We all want to be old. We all want to be around. We all want to. None of us are like,
I don't know.
Get me out of here.
Yeah, there are some people who are like that. Like
very rare.
But it's a shared experience. That's the thing. And it's all relative, because someone can feel old at 55 and someone can feel old at 85. But it is a shared experience where you're thinking, oh, yeah, this is different.
Where's the 989 area code?
989. Who wants to guess before I look it up?
New York.
No, I bet it's something like Alaska.
I'm gonna say
Buffalo.
I'm gonna say Hawaii.
Hawaii. No, okay, let's see.
I'm just throwing
989 area code is in Central Michigan.
Really?
Is that your parents?
No. They're not in Central Michigan, and they would just text me. My dad. In fact, my dad would just call me on my cell phone in the middle of the show, which he does probably twice a week.
It's right here. It's this part of the state.
So it's near the thumb.
It's near the thumb.
Mm-hmm.
So
near the base of the thumb.
I know that if you live in St. Louis, there's not a great likelihood you've met somebody from Michigan. But when you meet somebody from Michigan and you ask them where they're from, they will hold up their right hand and they'll point to it on because the Michigan looks like a mitt.
It is
like a mitten.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Except the top part, the UP looks like a dashing deer or something.
I was at a trivia night the other day.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Ronch. And the one question I knew was they were talking about regions. They're talking about regions, and they said people from this state are called Yoopers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And nobody at the table knew it. And I said, you know what I think this is?
It is.
I think it's people from the Upper Peninsula.
It is.
And that's exactly what it is. They're called Yoopers.
Yoopers.
Your favorite guy was Michigan J. Frog.
Oh, my God. What? Did I tell you about that?
Anyway.
Told everybody about that.
I forgot to read the text that it brought. 989 says, I liked what Bill Maher said about aging. As you get older, we're not beautiful anymore, but we're often smarter.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the truth, though. What you lose in the appearance, you gain in the intelligence and experience and understanding of things.
I mean, you should, ideally.
My question is, why am I not getting smarter? That's what I want to know.
Because you've reached a stasis.
You've
like you're
tapped
at
out.
You're right. Well, we talked about this the other day. I stopped in college.
You stopped in college.
That's it. I'm going to stay there for a while. All right, stick around. We got to wrap things up for this hour. We got Matt Pauley joining us at 12:30 for a little sports talk. Derek Gould in studio a little bit later on as well. All coming up.
In business since 1957, we've seen many competitors come and go. Hi, I'm Chuck Easter with Easter Fence Deck and Renovations. Many companies pass away with the owners, and their customers are left with useless promises and warranties. At Easter, we are in the third generation and have a succession plan. You know we'll be here to honor our warranty, which is the best in the industry, and take care of all of your fence, deck, and outdoor construction needs. Call 314-892-8500 or easterfence.com.
Easter Fence Deck and Renovations, where customers become friends.
This month's Zero Res special. The more you clean, the more you save. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129 or 5 rooms starting at $199. A 43% savings. Take $75 off any air duct cleaning package. Call 314-474-2020 or go to ZeroResSTL.com.
Do you know how much of your life savings you could lose in the next market downturn? Are you okay with the stock market controlling your financial future, or would you like to have more control? Hi, I'm Ken Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. Our team can stress test your retirement portfolio and give you the confidence to enjoy your retirement without having to worry about what the stock market is doing. Call 314-328-4400 today. That's 314-328-4400 and schedule your complimentary retirement roadmap review with our team. That's 314-328-4400. Again, 314-328-4400.
High-Z Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, 314-946-9999. We buy houses direct. If you're thinking about selling, you're not sure where you're going to go, you can sign a contract with us. We are the buyer, and we can provide a flexible closing date for you. Once we've written a contract, we can actually adjust the closing date if you need to move it up or you need to move it back. A lot of people aren't sure where they're going to move next, and we can make it easy on you. ClaymanGroup.com, 314-946-9999, 946, all nines.
Hi, it's Debbie Monterey, and I see clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to yourEyeDoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
The Center for Hearing and Speech empowers communication. To see how they can help you, call 314-968-4710 or go to chsstl.org.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. Kevin Wheeler. Nice. Amy Markscourt. Fabulous. Chris Ranji. Unbelievable. On the show.
Hi, Kevin.
Kevin, are you okay?
What's that? What's something happening?
No,
Are we
it
doing
just-
anything?
It looks like you were dozing off or something.
No, I was looking at something.
Okay.
You look
I was reading.
So,
Oh.
It did. My
Yeah,
first
you did. It was like-
reaction
I was getting ready to talk, and
Looking
then
at
you guys
Kevin to-
talk, but then I don't have
Okay.
to talk. So
All right. I was looking at Kevin like,
I don't
is
know
he
what
okay?
happened. Did I go somewhere?
I think somebody reboot Kevin.
Hang on. Hold on. There we go. Hang on. Let me get this button.
That was awesome. We're both like, are you okay?
I'm listening to the song, and I'm like,
Oh
I'm
man,
nodding my
I like
head.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
And
I
was
wonder what's
looking
next.
I was looking at. Well, I mean, honestly, what I was doing, I was looking at the blank spot on the rundown.
Oh,
is
yeah.
what I was
Okay,
doing.
well, here-
Well, looks like we're off to a roaring start.
Okay, I have a question for you guys.
All right, Amy, what's your question? Oh, he's red like his hair.
This has happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to our listeners who can always join in on any of our conversations.
314-436-7900.
Text or call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I saw this meme.
And at the show KMOX on Twitter.
Yeah. I saw this meme and it's all too accurate. Most people have iPhones, or if you have the Android, but there's a system where randomly my iPhone will bring up memories, photo memories from years ago. Also, there's seemingly no rhyme or reason, because you would think that it would align with the day. Like, hey, 2 years ago on this day, you did this. It's not. It's just random photos. And so it's, here's whoever the meme said, I'm going to move on from this relationship. And then your iPhone jumps in. You will move on from nothing. Here's a picture of you and your ex. And it's pretty funny because iPhone memories will randomly throw photos on my lock screen, right? You can see them. Here's a memory.
On the lock screen?
Mhm.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Here's a memory. Yep. That, because it's a little like a thumbnail.
Yeah.
A thumbnail, and it shows the photo in a thumbnail. It says a memory from, and it's a random day. And you're thinking, I should have deleted that picture.
Yep. I was trying to forget it.
Yeah.
Well, Facebook does the same thing when you go to your account.
At least
you
that
log
one's
in.
tied to the date usually.
It is. It's always
Yeah.
October 20th. This was a memory from 2013, which I get, and that's kind of cool. But sometimes if you have stuff on your page you don't really want to be reminded of, you can do the thing that a lot of people do, and usually it's done either out of extreme sadness or spite. But you delete all the photos of the person you broke up with, right?
From
And
Facebook?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you delete Facebook, Instagram photos. I'm not one of those people though.
You keep receipts.
Yeah, I like to keep receipts.
Yeah.
Proof of life.
Proof. Like, see? That happened.
Yeah.
Well, and
I get these. Usually they're like my dogs. They like, here's your
Oh.
furry friends in 2010
it's
or
really
whatever.
it's no rhyme or reason, because sometimes the memory is from 2 weeks ago. So it's like a random
Yeah.
picture, and sometimes it's from 7 years ago. And I will say, with the social media, here's my hot take. The more a couple posts on Facebook about how much they love each other,
Oh.
the less likely they are to actually work out. I always assume, especially if the posts become super frequent, I know that they're about to break up.
I don't know if that's always true, but
Prolific posters
there's very clearly, and this goes for all Instagram, Facebook, whatever users. They really like to try and demonstrate to everybody that follows them how great and happy their life is.
And the more they do that,
And so that includes their relationships.
but especially with the relationships, I'm thinking of someone specifically who's always posting, "Oh, my soulmate, I'm the luckiest," especially if it's too much too soon. Like if people just met and it's post after post every day, and then one day everything's gone.
You know what's funny about that is I know of a lot of the people who do that, I bet it's I don't know, maybe 25 to 30%, which is not an insignificant number of them. They're like, this is my soulmate. I love them. Like, you have a side piece and I know it.
Oh.
Yeah, like I know.
Do you post that on their
No, but I
comments?
know it. I know they have side pieces and I know they've done stuff with other people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ranch.
Liars.
The perspective that you guys bring is really interesting.
I'm just telling you about real life, man.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I do think Amy's thing is totally off.
Oh,
Most
quick,
relationships
text in.
fail. I mean, let's be
Text
honest,
in.
man.
Well, that's true.
Most relationships fail, right?
After you call them your soulmate.
Well, first of all, people just need to stop with the drama.
I mean, I like Susan.
All right, we're
Come
going
on.
to recap the top stories next here on the show.
Those career politicians all talk big. Yeah, like that Tracy McCreary. She's been in office nearly a decade. So I checked. Turns out McCreary failed to pass a single bill she authored in all that time. Not one. Yeah, I saw McCreary fail to even show up to vote 286 times. And now she wants a promotion? Well, sadly, McCreary's just another career politician who talks big, but has a do-nothing-for-us record. I want a state senator with a record of getting good things done. Well, that's world-renowned surgeon and educator George Haruza. As a doctor, Haruza gets the importance to us of quality, transparent, and affordable health care. Haruza knows our medical decisions belong between us and our doctor. And Haruza's for giving us back safe neighborhoods and stronger schools. Right. George Haruza is the clear choice for state senate. Well, I like his proven record of getting good things done.
Paid for by Haruza from Missouri.
Hi, guys. It's Andrew with Pineview Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED, but what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now. 314-530-7777.
KMOX, KEZK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at ThrottleNet. These are the genius IT guys that I've been representing for years and years now. We are number one all the time. Best in customer service from Small Business Monthly. Best in cybersecurity, again, Small Business Monthly. We have an average response time. I love this statistic. The average response time in St. Louis in 2020 by IT companies. You have a problem, you reach out to them, hey, I'm all shut down, help me, was 3 hours. If you got back within 3 hours, you were cool. Ours was 1 minute, 57 seconds, and the guys were very unhappy with that. It takes less than 2 minutes for us to address your problems. Here's a huge thing. We are now offering $500,000 in ransom protection to everyone who uses us. This is part of the deal. You don't pay extra for it. So if you happen to be hit, and you have to pay, we're going to pay it up to $500,000. Now, this shows you how confident we are because no one under our protection has ever had to pay. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 o'clock, we have sunny skies. It is 55 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Mysterious bones found in North St. Louis.
This is Kevin Killeen in North St. Louis, a tiny house, an empty house surrounded by overgrown brush, the 3200 block of North 19th Street. Neighbors suspicious of the squatters, the comings and goings. And then neighbors heard that someone may have been buried here, and they moved a brush pile to find some recently disturbed dirt. Police called in. They couldn't find anything. Then Alderman Brandon Bosley got on the case, along with a fire department cadaver dog. They did some sniffing around, and Bosley reportedly found 4 feet down a hip bone, a rib bone, and they don't know whose bones these are, how long they've been here. The investigation is ongoing.
Oklahoma has executed an inmate convicted of killing his infant daughter in 2002. Benjamin Cole put to death this morning at Oklahoma State Penitentiary. The execution occurred despite Cole's attorney's arguments that the inmate was not mentally competent. They say he had schizophrenia and a lesion on his brain that had worsened in recent years. A police chief in a small Missouri town has been charged with felony drug crimes after his girlfriend's brother was found dead from an apparent overdose in the police chief's apartment. William Jones was charged with second-degree drug trafficking, possession of a controlled substance, and tampering with evidence. The 50-year-old is a police chief in Louisiana, Missouri, in northeast part of the state. His 25-year-old girlfriend, Alexis Thome, is also charged. Authorities say the man who died was Thome's brother, Gabriel. Investigators say Jones tampered with evidence by throwing narcotics test kits in a dumpster before deputies arrived. Test it again. That's what Boston Chemical is saying after they found radioactive lead at Jana Elementary.
Phil Moser, the program manager, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, says the Boston Chemical Data Corp report is not consistent with our accepted evaluation techniques and must be thoroughly vetted to ensure accuracy. President Dr. Marco Kaltofen responds.
We used a certified independent laboratory in Tennessee, Eberline Analytical, and they do work for the Department of Energy, the Department of Defense, and others. So it's exactly the same people doing the testing that may well have done some of the Army Corps' testing.
Dr. Kaltofen says the Army Corps of Engineers should test the school themselves.
What I'd rather see is them repeat the work. This is very typical in science.
Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
It's a little tough right now.
But the president of St. Mary's High School says they are not closing and their property has not been sold.
Mike England says they haven't had such high morale at the school in the 10 years he's been at St. Mary's, despite the Archdiocese recommendation the Dutchtown High School close. England says they filed for 501c3 status.
I've got some really smart people from our board that are working on a financial plan for us right now, and they are figuring out exactly what the financial hole that we need to fill now with the Archdiocese not being a part of things is.
England says aside from their responsibility to the boys and the families they serve, St. Mary's is an anchor for Dutchtown and a neighborhood resource that must be saved. Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
From the First Mid-Bank and Trust Business Desk, some controversy at the 8th Annual Beer Mile World Classic in Belgium.
Racers come from all over the world for the Beer Mile World Classic, where they have to chug a 12-ounce beer before each lap of a mile. Usually they're bottles of beer, but this year they served cans because the venue didn't allow glass on premises. Runners didn't like that, as they say they take longer to drink and create more foam. Canadian Corey Belmore won the men's race for the second year in a row. Last year, he set a new beer mile world record of 4 minutes, 28 seconds with bottles. This year, while he still came in first, he finished in only 4 minutes, 50 seconds. Good news for next year's race, though. It'll be held in Chicago and bottles will be allowed again. So expect faster finishes and slightly less bloated runners. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
And the Dow is up 52 points at 30,476. A stalled vehicle 44 eastbound on the ramp from Shrewsbury. Be prepared to stop. And there's a stall 141 southbound past Lambert Drury Drive. The center lane is closed there. Emergency vehicle 64 westbound before Research Park Circle. They are on the right shoulder. The KMOX forecast for this afternoon, mostly sunny and warmer. The high around 70, clear to partly cloudy now. Tonight, the overnight low about 50, 81 the high for Friday. Right now we have sunny skies and 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
All right, coming up on 12:06 on the show, Chris Ranji, Amy March Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Time to recap the top stories of the day. We started off with oil prices, and I had a thought. I know we were playing a clip. It was a different topic. We were playing the George Carlin clips about aging, and he's got the joke about the difference between an old guy and an old fart, and like he was doing a funny bit, and we can't play it because he swears a lot. But there's a different Carlin thing actually that popped into my head when I was thinking about our topic when it comes to the oil prices and how it all works. It always feels like they're always a step ahead, right? Like when something goes wrong, well, the prices are going up, and then when things are better, they come down really, really slow. And always the profits are always high, regardless of circumstance. Maybe with the exception of 2020 because of COVID, when people stopped driving. It's like the only time in my lifetime where things were a little bit rough for the oil industry there.
Contango.
But it made me think of the thing that the bit that George Carlin did about how we regular people, regardless of our political affiliations or anything, we're in this position where you've got these people that are at the tops of industry, whatever. It's a great big club, and we're not in it. And I wonder if that's what's at the root of just the frustration of all of those things. So when we look at high profits and prices going up, and we're getting the kick in the teeth at the gas pump and all that, and it's like, okay, all this group of people, whoever they are, they're in this great big club. They keep doing what they're going to do. We always end up paying for it, and we're not in that club, and I think it can be a little bit annoying.
Well, I think the evidence of that is the people who are extremely wealthy and, those who are billionaires, and how their wealth increased during the pandemic by something like $1.5, $1.7 trillion. We're talking about all this money that they ended up making while the rest of us struggled, while everybody else struggled. I think there's your evidence right there.
But I think it's that frustration that leads to a lot of us when we're complaining about gas prices, or you're complaining about the cost to go to a theme park, or just rising costs in general.
Well,
I think the frustration is knowing that you're not in that club that is essentially immune from these things.
I hate to use like a broad brushstroke on everything, because there are big corporations who they're the nonprofit work that they do, the innovation, the way they build and invest in communities. We've seen it here. That's incredible. With the oil companies versus Disney, you can't just say gas is high, Disney is expensive. It's the same thing. I mean, with the oil companies, you're also dealing with bad faith regimes, which like Saudi Arabia, that should be a pariah. Joe Biden said it should be a pariah. And yet, we're having to deal with these bad faith countries and OPEC and all of that.
What we're being told is the supply is not the problem.
It's the refining.
It's the refining and the manufacturing, and that's the problem. That's why things are the way. Well, then,
which
then
is ultimately the supply.
Then make more, though.
Yeah,
make more. But see, when the price goes up, though, you end up benefiting from it. Not us, the companies themselves. When you create less demand, you're going to create higher price.
But again, there has been.
Not less demand, less product.
Politicians, Joe Biden has talked about how he wants to put fossil fuel companies out of business. We can't do that yet, but the way it's set up. And again, I'm not saying they're not profiting greatly or abusing the system, or at least using the system to their advantage, as a lot of companies would. But right now, with the demand outpacing the supply, because you can have leases or you can have oil, but you've got to go through the refining process, which gets more expensive, and deliberately so, because the United States is trying to push its reliance away from fossil fuels onto greener sources of energy. You're kind of pulling at both ends of the rope here, saying, well, we need more oil, but only for a little bit. And also we want to make it harder for oil to be refined, make it more expensive because we want to move away from it. So oil companies are finding that, well, it's just like anything else. When the supply is lower, they're doing less work and people are buying it for a higher price.
Which is understood, but that doesn't explain why the prices are high around the world. It's not just here. I mean, we're talking about it being an American problem. It's a Joe Biden problem. He wants to move away from oil, and they're startled. They don't know what to do. They're afraid. I think we have to accept the reality that at some point we need to be less dependent on fossil fuels because it's not good for the planet. It's decidedly not good. It doesn't mean we're going to be completely separated from it, that we'll never use it in any capacity ever again, but we got to move away from it. Also, though, we're talking about many years down the line. We're not talking about right now. And I guess where I'm really uncomfortable about the whole thing is that it is a commodity that right now is necessary. And to an extent, it's always going to be necessary. I don't like treating it like just a regular business where people have to make money off of it. And I know there's got to be some profit. I get it. But it's also a thing that people absolutely have to have. We have to have it in order for society to function right now. So I don't want it to be treated like prices for going to Disney. Like, it shouldn't be treated the same way.
Well, you can just not do the other.
Right.
If you have a car and you have to go to work, you need to buy the gas.
Yep.
Well, and the prices around the world are because Europe is so reliant on Russian oil. That's why the whole Nord Stream pipeline was so controversial. So it is around the world, and each country can do things or not do
And
things.
it's worse in a lot of other countries than here.
To make it worse.
But yeah,
As it should, because they're more reliant on Russian oil. We have, what was it, a few years ago, we were the highest producing country.
but then those companies sell it overseas. They don't sell it here necessarily.
Okay. The thing I'm trying to get to here, and we all understand how businesses work. We all understand the profit motive. We understand what drives these prices. What I'm pointing out is that most people are usually on the receiving end of the kicks in the ass.
Always.
Like all of us, regardless of who you vote for. You're the one on the receiving end of the kicks in the ass all the time. Meanwhile, the people in the club always seem to be just fine.
Yep.
They always seem to find a way to get through a difficult time and turn it into a positive. And I'm not saying I'm not saying we have to outlaw it. I'm not saying that we have to make laws to change how it works. I'm saying it's the root of people's frustration. They're in a club that you're not in. And no matter what, if you're a regular person, you get kicked in the ass all the time. Cost of higher education, filling up your gas tank, the cost of food, cost of entertainment, all of those things are always changing. Meanwhile, you look over and you're like, funny, record profits. Okay, then. So I guess it's just upon all of us to take the beating and just be okay with it because that's what it is.
You could make that analogy with a lot of people in Congress, that they're making rules, they're passing legislation, and they're the exception, or their kids don't go to those schools, or their healthcare is different.
Or they get to trade stocks. Based on
individual
the things
stocks
they learn in their job. The whole thing is like, okay, they're all in a really big club and we're not in it, and that is not fun.
I do wish there was a much greater push, and there are a lot of people in Congress who are anti this, including Nancy Pelosi. She is not into this.
Not into what?
Not allowing individuals in Congress to own individual stock and trade individual stock.
She was doing it.
Yeah, she doesn't want to pass any laws to prevent it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I misunderstood.
She's one of the people who wants to be able to continue doing it, and I think that's wrong.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And again, that was kind of the bigger point. That when we get frustrated at things like gas prices,
she's not the only one.
Whatever. It's
rampant.
No. It's all across the board. But I think that when we all get, let's be honest, we all get pissed off about these things. Part of the reason is we're not in the club. And it's, again, doesn't matter who you vote for or how you align yourself. If you're a regular person, you're basically always taking the brunt of it. When things are good, things can be good for you. When things are bad, you're going to wear it. That's just how it ends up being. And that it doesn't mean that we can fix it. I mean, if there was a fix, I'm sure that would be there. There are ideas that, like you're talking about, that could change it. But the massive frustration of just having to deal with this as the reality is what people are allowed to vent about. Does that kind of sum it up? Like, it's okay to be mad even though you know that's the way it is. All right. That's all I got to say about that.
Them's the breaks.
Damn, I wish I would have thought of that.
Hey,
them's the breaks.
What are we doing? What are we
can't
doing
wait.
coming up?
I
We're
know.
talking about bear attack.
Oh,
Bears.
bear attack.
A bear attack. Like an attack.
And also later in the show.
Oh, at 1:00, George Harus is going to join us, Republican candidate for the Missouri State Senate. There was a story. I think maybe before he's coming in, we'll lay the scene with the story that was in the Post-Dispatch today. We'll talk a bit about that, but that'll be coming up at 1:00 here on the show. Coming up next, Tell you what, you want to know how good your friends are? Something bad happens. Where are they when you need them? This is some guys that have really good friends. We'll tell you about that story coming up.
Well, the Salvation Army is celebrating 75 years of the Tree of Lights in St. Louis, and they invite your business to support those less fortunate by displaying an angel tree this November. What is an angel tree? Well, the Salvation Army Angel Tree Program helps provide Christmas gifts for thousands of children 12 and under in the greater St. Louis area each and every year. In fact, last year, the Salvation Army served just over 4,000 children through the Angel Tree Program. Okay, back to the actual tree. It's a tree. You get a Christmas tree that you can display in your business, whether it's a store or a lobby, wherever it is best to display the tree. And then the Salvation Army will supply the ornaments. And the ornaments are little pieces of paper with a child in need and that specific child's Christmas wants and needs. Then you can go shopping for that child, whether it's your customers are picking an ornament or your employees are picking an ornament. They go shopping for the child, and that way, that child has presents to open on Christmas morning, and he or she might not otherwise have anything to open. To learn more, go to salarmymidland.org. That's salarmymidland.org.
We're days away from the midterms that will impact the direction of this country. You're being bombarded with messages. Good luck sifting through the information yourself.
When I do a search on Google and you do a search on Google, we're getting very different results.
What are media outlets responsible for?
You hold your nose and you air the ad.
Information, misinformation, disinformation, and the midterms coverage you'll find only on KMOX.
For 30 years, Banner Construction has offered the finest home exterior solutions featuring James Hardy and Pella Windows to give your home a beautiful new look. Visit bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050. That's 569-1050. Banner Construction.
Let's talk real estate for a minute. The St. Louis market is kind of tricky for home sellers right now, with home values going down and not selling as quickly. Now is not the time to risk losing precious equity on your home. This is Debbie Monterey, and I always recommend calling Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria's the best. She's experienced every type of market, both good, great, and the not so good. So before you list your home for sale, call Gloria, and here's why. Gloria Liu will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed-to price and time frame, or she'll buy it herself, guaranteed in writing. Gloria already has the buyers, thousands of buyers in her database. In fact, your home may already be sold. Gary and Angela called Gloria and sold their home even before it listed because Gloria had several buyers looking for a home in that area. Call Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or find her online at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
So I have a new client to tell you guys about, Doctors Bertie and Malhotra from Ophthalmology Associates. You've heard about them for years. Charlie Brennan, Tom Ackerman, Trish Gazelle, so many personalities have gone to see these doctors. I recently went myself. I have a very slight prescription, but I have something called narrow angle glaucoma in my family, so I have to be really careful about that. I had the best exam I've ever had from the most courteous professional people I've ever dealt with. Put aside all the puffery, put aside all of my salesmanship. These are the best eye doctors in town. They're so professional, so competent. Their staff are so friendly. Everything about them, whether it's a LASIK procedure or it's simply eyeglasses or sunglasses, whatever it is, these are the guys. 314-966-5000. That's 314-966-5000, or online at youridoc.com for Doctors Bertie and Malhotra at Ophthalmology Associates.
Hey, Ed Brock, everybody. If you love Halloween like I do yourself a favor and visit Johnny Brock's Dungeon. Why shop those tiny pop-up shops when you can shop 30,000 square feet of locally owned Halloween fun? We're open all year at I-44 in Jefferson on the edge of Soulard. Johnny Brock's Dungeon, a St. Louis must-see.
The voice of St. Louis. News that matters to you. KMOX.
All right, 12:20 on the show. Chris Ron, Jamie, Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler. Now, Amy, you had a bear story from your time in Canada.
Yep.
And it sounded certainly well, scary. Seemed to be less than ideal when you walk up on a ridge and the first thing you see is,
A
giant grizzly bear.
Yes, not the cute little, there's a cute little black bear that was roaming around Richmond Heights. I think Kevin Kleen got pictures of that little black bear.
He was cute.
He was little. He was cute. This was not that. This was a giant grizzly bear. We were within 20 feet of it, and we did not die. We made it. He didn't attack us, though. He sat there and looked. We made eye contact the entire time while we backed away.
And that by itself, I mean, like, that's an unusual thing. It's stunning. It's surprising. These two guys that were actually college wrestlers were out. They were out looking for like antlers that had been shed by by elk. I think they were just kind of walking through the woods, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they hear the noise of a bear. You know, the growling, that kind of thing, and then they hear the brushing, like something's charging, and one of them is attacked. This bear is attacking this college guy. These guys are college teammates. They're teammates on the wrestling team. One of the friends is pinned down by a bear.
Oh my gosh.
Being attacked. And the other guy is there and he starts fighting the bear. Like he's kicking punches. No, he's yes. Not just reaching with a stick, not just throwing things. He is pulling at the bear's fur. He's punching and kicking to save his friend. And then the bear's like turns his attention to that guy. Attacks him, pushes him along the ground, pins him down, all kinds of things. These two guys are really, really serious. I mean, obviously seriously hurt, broken bones. I mean, puncture wounds, the whole deal. But they survived. And it's such a fascinating story because, number one, who in the heck knows how they're going to react in that spot, right? They quoted the coach of the wrestling team saying something along the lines of, they can't put his life at risk to save his teammate. He could have easily just run for his own safety, and it wouldn't have been a crazy thing for someone to think. But for him to be first reaction, oh my God, my friend's being attacked by a bear, I'm going to attack the bear, is, again, I don't know how any of us put ourselves in that spot, but that's a good friend right there, man.
It's the best friend. So you owe that friend for life, right?
I would think
like no
so.
matter what
Yeah.
he ever asks you to do, like you kind of have to, right?
Right. So Brady Lowry was the wrestler who was initially attacked. And then his friend Kendall Cummings was the one that came to his aid. And they actually said this at the end of the story. They're like, yeah, we're friends for life. Like, and by the way, they had more teammates there that basically carried them out of the wilderness to safety where they could get help, where they could, be taken care of. But they're all beaten up really bad, super serious injuries. But again, in that moment when you have to decide, and I don't even know if it's a decision. Again, I've never really been in that spot. But in that moment, you have the fight or flight, right? People have the fight or flight instinct. This guy jumped on the bear.
See, and that is something I think about because I want to be the brave person in that situation. I want to do the right thing. I can tell you right now, I know my instinct is flight. Like, I've never been attacked by an animal like that or been next to someone who was being attacked. So I don't know what I would do in that situation because in some instances, flight is okay. Like you want to get away from a dangerous situation. So I know that's my instinct. Would my instinct change in the moment? And I hope it would. I hope I would be that brave person to fight for my friend the way like they talk about, ironically, the mama bear instinct, right? How the adrenaline kicks in, the moms, save the child. All I know is when my friend Noah and I came across the grizzly, I looked at the grizzly and my initial instinct was to turn and run. So I started to turn my body and I remember it so clearly. As I was turning my body, I remember thinking, no, like this is the worst thing you can do. So I had to overcome my instinct to flee, turn back towards the bear, look at the bear, stand there, make myself big, and then back up. So I guess in that instant, I did fight the instinct to flee. But what would have happened if that bear had attacked one of us? And how do you fight back? I cannot tell you how big this grizzly was.
I mean, in this case was a grizzly too. They're massive bears.
It's like fighting a horse. I don't know. How do you do it?
I honestly don't know how I'd react. I think I would like to believe that I would. I mean, you're going to help, but what do you do against a bear, like a full-sized or even medium-sized grizzly?
Think of someone that you're not a huge fan of.
Oh,
He's a loose acquaintance.
Can I get the keys first? I'll wait till the Bears finish. I'll
if
retrieve
it's a
the keys
loose
so I get home.
acquaintance being attacked versus your best friend, or would you hopefully just being a good human would kick in?
It's a great question. I mean, again, I don't think people actually know
Don't
until
you feel
they're
like
in that spot.
If it were your daughter, I'm guaranteeing
there's no question
you're
there.
fighting
Well,
that bear.
think of it this way: there are people who are you could be a police officer, you could be in the military, and I imagine that I know it happens. Maybe it's rare when it happens, but it does happen. You go through all this weapons training, you do all these things, but you don't really know how you're going to react until you're actually being shot at.
Right.
Until you're actually in the danger. And the training clearly helps in a very big way, but sometimes maybe a person freezes or they, they're supposed to do one thing, but instead they hide for cover or whatever. Like, you just never really know until you're in that situation, regardless of how prepared you are for it. It's the Mike Tyson thing, right? Where he said, everybody has a plan until you're punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get hit in the mouth, then everything's out the window. So you never really know how you're going to react.
And I do think, when you're talking about like your kids,
yeah,
I don't know that there's any hesitation.
I know.
I mean, it's a
know
different instinct. It's just a different instinct. I mean, I think we're all species, but I'm speaking as a human, but all species are wired that way, right? That bear is wired that way. If they think that their offspring are in trouble, that's how they're going to react. And I think that's an instinctive thing. It's a little bit less so, I believe, with other people, friends, family members.
But a rando. There's other people hiking. It's some random guy, and you happen to cross paths, and then he gets attacked by the bear. You don't know that guy. Do you run away? And again, that's where I like hope and pray that I would be the brave person who would fight for, be a humanity for another human being and fight that instinct to flee.
That would be the hope. I'm like you, Ranj. I hope that that's what I would do in that spot. I've been in other spots, but not like that.
But also it would help if you had a weapon. And what these guys didn't have was a weapon, correct?
No.
Yeah, they didn't have
bare hand wrestling a bear.
I mean,
that's
mostly just covering up and trying not to. One guy actually had the presence of mind to say I'm putting my hand and arm in his mouth so he can't bite my neck or face.
Right.
Oh my
gosh.
Like, that's presence of mind.
Yes, it is.
Well done, Kendall Cummings. Well done, Brady Lowry. They helped each other survive. Their teammates helped them, and crazy situation, man. Hey, we're going to check in on some sports with our buddy Matt Pauley coming up next.
Have you heard the news?
I'm Megan Lynch. These are the stories making news.
Start your day with Total Information AM.
I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Debbie, Tom, and Megan bring you St. Louis's news.
What Missouri's new voting laws.
Traffic from Roger Brand.
On the highways.
And the latest forecast.
Thank you with the meteorologist Dean DeVore.
At 8.
I'm Carol Daniel.
And I'm Tom Ackerman.
It's Total Information AM expanded with more news, interviews, and in-depth story coverage.
COVID boosters.
Total Information AM on 98.7 FM, 1120 AM, and the Odyssey app.
Are you sick and tired of being cooped up for over 2 years? Getting hammered with old school advertising, buy 2 windows, get 2 free, 50% off labor, or pay no interest for 2 years? My grandson Elijah says,
"Are you kidding me?"
How about a breath of fresh air and windows, doors, siding, and decking that is attractive, durable, energy saving, available in up-to-date colors and styles at wholesale pricing? My name is Julius Krasanik. I am celebrating 50 years in this industry. Our local and family business is Wholesale Siding Depot. Please visit our website, wsdepot.com. That's wsdepot.com for name brand products from Anderson Windows, Certainteed Siding, Viwinco Windows, Provio and Therma-Tru Doors, and AZEK, TimberTech, Envision, and Trex Decking, to name a few. We also offer a free contractor referral service to take care of all your installation needs. Keep it local, family, and professional. That's wsdepot.com.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
At 12:30, we have sunny skies at 62 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel. British Prime Minister Liz Truss quit today after a tumultuous and historically brief term in which her economic policies roiled financial markets and a rebellion in her political party obliterated her authority. Truss became the third Conservative Prime Minister to be toppled in as many years, extending what some see as the instability that has shaken Britain since it broke off from the European Union. Michigan lawmakers agreed to set aside $20 million to settle a lawsuit by thousands of people who were wrongly accused of fraud when seeking unemployment benefits. An automated computer system used during the administration of Governor Rick Snyder was a disaster. People were forced to repay money along with substantial penalties before the Unemployment Insurance Agency acknowledged widespread errors. Voters in 5 states are deciding whether to close loopholes that allowed convict labor as an exception to slavery. None will force immediate changes, though they could lead to legal challenges related to how states use prison labor. Families looking forward with dread at winter as winter approaches with high energy costs and tight fuel supplies. The U.S. Department of Energy is projecting sharp price increases for home heating compared to last winter. There is a stalled vehicle, US 61, southbound 270. The left lane is closed. There's a stall, 55 southbound before Arsenal. That stall is on the right shoulder. The KMOX forecast: after a sunny afternoon, a clear to partly cloudy night, the low 50. Even warmer tomorrow, sunny, the high 81 for Friday. The forecast sponsored by Metro Transit. Right now, we have sunny skies and 62 degrees downtown at the Arch. Hey, mechanics, quick question. You getting paid what you're worth? No, let's change that. Metro Transit is now hiring mechanics, starting pay over $30 an hour. Full benefits, 401k, signing bonuses, and more. Visit work@metrostl.com. Visit that website today and get your worth. I'm Carol Daniel, KMOX News.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Yes, with inflation, interest rate increases, and a possible recession looming, we are no doubt facing uncertain times in the housing market. But as a realtor with over 20 years of experience, I can tell you, if you're thinking of selling your home, now more than ever, you need a realtor to help you through these times while saving you money. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty, and we offer all of this for only 4%. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Sunday, it's the Chiefs and 49ers, and you can hear the game here. Pre-game coverage at 2, kickoff 3:25. Kansas City, San Francisco, this Sunday. Touchdown! Kansas City! On your home for Chiefs football, KMOX.
By 12:33 on a Thursday, that means it's time for us to talk to our buddy Matt Pauley, of course, the host of Sports Open Line here on KMOX. Good to talk to you again, Matt. What's up, man? How you doing?
It's not the Redbird Report anymore. I don't come in with the dulcet tones of John Rooney, which always fires me up.
Oh, yeah.
If
Sorry.
I perform today, that's on you guys.
We're going to rebrand the segment. It's in the future. It's going to be called the Cardinals segment.
Yep. Yeah. Just like the show.
Call it that. Yeah. We're going to simplify.
We have the
Can
fun
we talk
segment?
about like Louisville and Ball State as well? Anything Cardinals?
Whatever you want.
Well, part of the reason is, Matt, because in all honesty, we're not just going to be focused only on baseball for the moment because there's not much happening with the Cardinals. Well, not much, meaning nothing, because we got to wait for the offseason to really kick in. So we figured, we might talk a little Blues. We might throw some other things at you as well. So
the Cardinal segment, that does not explain the name at all. You can't say we call it the Cardinal segment because we're going to talk about Blues and everything else.
It's like the show.
Well, the show makes sense.
It's just the show.
It's the show. It's everything. The Cardinal segment sounds specific.
Anyway, I do want to get your thoughts on the start to the season for the Blues, Matt. I mean, it's 2 games, doesn't tell us a whole lot, but at least they're 2 wins to start things off.
Yeah, I guess the 2 things that jump out at me from the first 2 games. In the first game, the fact that they were able to wear down Columbus, which they should have. It was their first game, and Columbus was, I believe, on a back-to-back and playing their 3rd game. So they played tight for 2 periods and then finally really able to impose their will. And then I thought last night, what was really interesting to me watching that game was just the approach that Seattle took when Tarasenko was on the ice. I know teams try to really crash hard on him, when he has the puck. But man, did they go hard at him. And then that opened up a lot of stuff. And obviously Tarasenko is a pretty solid passer. And there was a lot of room on the ice elsewhere when he had the puck on his stick. And that resulted in him getting the assist, including on that game winner. So, yeah, that's if you want my 2-second take on the Blues, there you have it.
I mean, early in the year, it's all we really should have, right? I mean, like, we can't make too much out of 2 games. It's always important to stack points regardless of the time of year. And we do want to see, long-term, what kind of consistency we're going to see out of Jordan Binnington, how we're going to see the defensive core come together, but we're not going to know that after just 2.
Yeah, I guess the importance here is the schedule is really dumb that they would do this, that there were teams that had played 5 games before the Blues played their second game. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And you want to have these times off during the season for you to be able to heal and things like that. So the league didn't do the Blues any favors by putting so many of their off days in the first week and a half of the season. So that, I think that adds even more importance to winning these games, because if it's February and you're talking about a team playing 2 games over 9 days or whatever it is, there's a lot of importance on winning those games because you're rested.
How about Harrison Bader, huh?
Yeah, so one of my former colleagues in Milwaukee tweeted this out, and I retweeted it. During the regular season, he had the lowest exit velocity of every Major League Baseball player, and here he is in the postseason, just absolutely killing it. And you feel good for him, and that, we said it over and over, like we weren't going to know how good of a trade that was going to be for the Yankees until the postseason, because they acquired Bader just for the postseason. It never mattered if he was going to appear in a regular season game or not. And now he's stepping forward, and you just got to feel happy for him.
So when we look at that, I mean, I made the joke the other day, like, I wonder if Yankee fans are still yelling at the front office for trading for him and getting rid of Jordan Montgomery. It seems that they're doing just fine with that. But that is, and I think we're going to throw another thing at you in a minute. But to me, that's just a constant reminder at how crazy things get in the postseason, how you get 1 or 2 players that get hot, they make a big impact, and that can be the difference between making a run and not.
Yeah, if you got like 2 guys that are right in the middle of your order and you just can't get around them as an opponent, you can win some games off that. And it also reminds us that baseball, in everything, not just trades, but every part of baseball is taking a step back and looking at things from a long-term perspective. So during the regular season, yeah, the Cardinals absolutely won that trade because Montgomery was so good. And I'm not saying they shouldn't have made that trade. They absolutely should have. Their biggest need was in the starting rotation, and they win the division and go on that run in August, largely because of Montgomery and Quintana. But now we take a step back and say, okay, the trade looks a little bit more even now. And I think even, I was doing it. I'm so guilty of this. We were doing the thing during the regular season where we were looking at Juan Soto's numbers in San Diego and saying, well, that wouldn't have helped the Cardinals very much, what he's done in San Diego. His batting average isn't great in the postseason, but he's coming up with big hits. He's driving in runs. So he's doing what San Diego wanted him to do, and they're still alive in the playoffs because of it.
Who do you like the rest of the way?
I think I like the Phillies. And it's not just because they knocked out the Cardinals, and I know they got beat pretty good yesterday, and maybe that's going to prompt San Diego to go on a run. But I like Nola and Wheeler. Obviously, there's some big bats in the lineup. The bullpen has been a lot like that. When we went into the Cardinal series, the key was, get their starters out early and get to the bullpen, and you can have some success. Well, the Phillies bullpen has been pretty good here in the playoffs. So it's one of those things where of the 4 teams that are left, I would not be surprised by any of them winning the World Series. But if, the proverbial gun to head, I'll take the Phillies.
All right, Matt, I got a question for you. Outside of sports.
Okay.
Are you a clean freak like Amy and Ranji?
No, I'm not. And my wife hates it. She hates it so much.
I'm not even a clean freak. I just don't like germs.
I mean, I'm not like dirty.
Well, nobody likes germs, Ranj, but some of us are less.
Well, it sounds like you love them.
Here's why the term is weird, because it implies that I'm clean to the point that it's freaky, but it's not. It's just you just got to be clean. You got to be vigilant.
I guess I think we need to separate like being clean and dirty versus like messy and organized. I'm messy. I'm not dirty. I'm messy.
Yeah, I am too.
There's a difference. No one gets typhoid from disorganization.
That's right.
Yeah, if I just throw my jeans on the floor in the bedroom when I get home,
That's
nobody's
me.
dying because of that. Yeah, so
That is
that's
me.
what bothers my wife. From a cleanliness standpoint, yes, I think I'm relatively clean.
Relative. See, I would use that. I would use that for me too. But like I said, some of these things don't worry me. And Amy threw a story at us earlier, but it's got a list of things that we're probably not cleaning that we should. Is that what it is?
11 germy things that you're not cleaning.
All right, let's do a poll of each of us and see how this goes.
Okay. Am I picking out some of the highlights?
All right, you can go whatever you want. Best ones, just run
Okay.
through them quick, whatever you want.
Toothbrush holder.
Cleaning that?
Guess who just cleaned it and then put it in the dishwasher?
Yeah, you're supposed to put it in the dishwasher.
Today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, today I took my toothbrush holder out of the
I
dishwasher.
have not in a while.
Yeah.
Gross.
Matt?
And I know I need to.
Well, I have one of those electrical toothbrushes, so I don't really have one.
Oh,
but
you got the
if I
stand.
did, I can honestly say no, I would never.
Yeah.
Clean it. But my wife would. My
Yeah.
wife would.
Yeah, that's a good fallback. I don't have a toothbrush holder.
Where do you stick your
It's
toothbrush?
just I keep all of my things like that. They are in the little like travel bag, and they just stay in there all the time, and it just goes back in there.
Do you clean the travel bag? Oh my gosh.
I would say certainly not once in the 10 or 12 years I've had it.
Ew.
Oh, Kevin.
12 years?
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
what if you get
God,
the
that's
flu?
disgusting.
It's not in. There's nothing bad in there.
The
It's
flu is in that bag.
No, it's not. It is not.
Oy.
Okay.
There's
All
nothing
right.
in there.
What about
Hold on.
Oh.
Hold on. I got one I want to add to that. Do
Okay.
you cover your toothbrush if you keep it in the bathroom?
Well, mine's
Or
in
is
the
it just
bag, so
sitting
yes.
out?
Yeah.
Okay, I hate this question. I don't cover it. I do close the lid of the toilet
Because we're
before
talking
I
about the
flush.
toilet
Okay.
plume when you flush.
Yeah, there's a toilet plume.
I
Matt,
close
did you
the
know
lid
that, Matt?
before I flush.
No, I don't think it's always closed, but I don't think I don't think I close before I flush. I've never really thought about
So
that.
Yeah.
I'm
fecal
going-
Hiroshima.
Yeah,
Oh.
so basically little tiny invisible particles go everywhere because they go shoot up out of there.
that's right.
But we're all still alive and we've survived forever, even
Well.
though that's the case. So
Yeah.
I don't personally worry about it.
What about sponges and dish towels?
What about them?
Do you clean them, replace them?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to clean those.
Yeah.
I don't trust a sponge.
I mean, I don't do the dish. My wife does that part. That's just the thing because she's more worried about it than me. If it were up to me, the dish towels would get changed probably, I don't know, every few months.
Oh my gosh.
Matt?
I've never. But again, this comes. I sound like I just rely on my wife for everything, and I guess I do.
Now let me move the subject along.
Okay.
Would you, for a friend, fight a bear?
So I saw this. I talked about this on Sports Open Line last night. There was a thing with the two Wyoming wrestlers that did that. I think one-on-one, I would have to find some sort of like large stick or something. I'm not just going like
no stick.
Hold on,
available.
stop attacking my friend. Let me go get a stick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
no
I
no
don't
stick
know.
readily available. No big rock readily
No
available.
sticks, no rocks.
I don't know. I don't think I have much of a shot. Like those people in Wyoming are really tough, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but let's say you
I'm
and
not
your
tough
good
enough for that.
your good buddy Wheeler and the bear starts attacking Wheeler. Do
Oh,
you
he's
say
leaving.
I'm out of here?
I'm yelling at the bear.
Yeah.
That's the extent of my. I'm getting up.
like,
Hey, stop
hey,
that.
hey,
Stop
bear!
it. Stop it.
Stop it!
Talking to it like it's a dog misbehaving. Get down.
Let go. Let go. What do you have in your mouth, my friend?
Now the question, let's reverse that. What if it was Ranji?
Yeah, what if it was me, Matt?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I know. I feel the same
The
way
hell,
now.
man. I don't
I'll
care
tell you
for
what.
this.
I'm surprised by how quickly this 3-person show could at any moment become a 2-person show.
Or one,
Or one.
depending on which way the bear goes.
That's true.
Ranji, if Jose Quintana and Wilson Contreras are with you and a bear attacks you, do those two guys save you?
Would they save me? Wilson Contreras doesn't know me at all.
Oh,
So
okay.
no.
Okay. But would like Quintana, I mean, he could throw rocks really hard.
He might throw rocks.
Honestly, I'm going to say I thought him not knowing you would actually make it more likely that he tries to save you.
Damn, man. Hey, Paulie, did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
What do you think of that?
You're a very nice guy.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what?
We got a text that says try to go for the eyes of the bear.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that's pretty specific in a moment
Yeah.
where things are pretty chaotic. I mean,
Aren't you supposed to punch a shark in the eye?
in the
In the gills.
snout, and the snout.
Oh, the snout.
Yeah, the snout.
I mean, if that bear moves just a little bit, you're punching right into his mouth and you no longer have a hand.
Listen, this is, but if you're in that moment, because this is what was surprising to me. We talked about this story a little bit earlier this hour, Matt. One of the guys that was one of the wrestlers from Wyoming they were in Yellowstone when this happened. One of them said, I was putting my hands and my arm in the bear's mouth so that it wouldn't be able to get to my face or neck. So that's pretty strong presence of mind. Maybe you would have the presence of mind to go for the eyeballs.
Ken, have you guys been to Wyoming? There's nothing to do there except for try to learn how to wrestle grizzly bears.
Well, yeah, apparently the other thing to do is run for your life.
Well,
it's the only thing to do. Wyoming seems beautiful. I think Montana seems like it's awesome. I would love to go to one of those two. If you could go anywhere, Matt, in the country for let's go for a weekend, like a nice 3-day weekend, where would you go?
Probably San Diego. It's my favorite city to visit. I don't like the nothingness of a Wyoming or a Montana. Now, I used to broadcast Mountain West basketball, so I spent a lot of time in Laramie, Wyoming. And I don't know how they recruit 18-year-olds to go play basketball and football there. There is nothing in Laramie, Wyoming.
I like you a lot less than I did about 5 minutes ago.
That's right. I like you more.
I love the nothingness of Wyoming and Montana. It's beautiful. It's God's country. You go out there, you hike, you drink coffee.
I need stuff to do.
Yeah. And for balance, Matt, I like you exactly the same as before.
I'm walking out of this interview with the exact same likeness level between the three of you. That works.
Nice.
That's right.
Very nice. We got football tonight, right?
No, we do not. Not that if we do, I'm not aware.
Why do I never get this right?
I don't know. I just know that I've got a 2-hour show tonight. So no, I don't believe. What is the tonight is what, Cardinals and Saints? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody get excited for.
It'll be another great
Jameis
Thursday
Winston
night.
Or Andy Dalton.
It'll be another 12-12 game. Everybody will be complaining about it tonight and tomorrow morning for sure. What do you got on the show?
Watch.
What do you got on the show? What should we be listening to?
Yeah, I was thinking about. I want to get in more. We're still doing a lot on the baseball playoffs. I was thinking to myself, when it comes to the National League, I think the reason it's been as random as it has been is because basically the only teams that actually tried to win this year are the teams that are in the playoffs. So it's almost like there was only 5 or 6 teams that were going to be able to go out and get players. And that sort of has made it where there's a lot of really good teams in the National League. So we're going to dive in on that a little bit today.
All right, Matt, have a good show, buddy. We'll talk to you Monday.
All right, sounds good.
There you go. That's our buddy Matt Pauley joining us on the show. As I mentioned earlier, coming up at 1 o'clock, we're expecting to have George Aruzza in studio. He is running for the state Senate in the 24th district against Tracy McCreary. We'll talk a bit about a recent story in the Post-Dispatch and go through the details on that. Obviously, that'll be after the 1 o'clock news. Up next, we're going to set the scene for you there on what we're talking about and what we're bringing up after that top of the hour news. So we'll get into that next up on the show.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. As autumn temperatures get cooler, here are some simple things you can do to help out the environment. Remove any window air conditioners. Check windows and door seals for proper insulation to keep heat in and cold air out. And check your furnace, making sure it's clean, and replace the air filter with a new one to keep it running at peak efficiency all winter long. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Those career politicians all talk big,
Yeah, like that Tracy McCreary. She's been in office nearly a decade, so I checked. Turns out McCreary failed to pass a single bill she authored in all that time. Not one.
Yeah, I saw McCreary fail to even show up to vote 286 times, and now she wants a promotion?
Well, sadly, McCreary's just another career politician who talks big but has a do-nothing-for-us record.
I want a state senator with a record of getting good things done.
Well, that's world-renowned surgeon and educator George Haruza. As a doctor, Haruza gets the importance to us of quality, transparent, and affordable health care. Haruza knows our medical decisions belong between us and our doctor, and Haruza's for giving us back safe neighborhoods and stronger schools.
Right. George Haruza is the clear choice for state senate.
Well, I like his proven record of getting good things done.
Paid for by Haruza for Missouri.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
For all your communication needs, check out the Center for Hearing and Speech. Call today, 314-968-4710 or chsstl.org.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. Amy Marks Kors.
This is my show, my microphone.
On the show.
All right, so let's set up what we've got coming up at the top of the hour. There's a story in the Post-Dispatch yesterday it's related to the race between George Haruza and Tracy McCreary in the 24th District State Senate race here in Missouri. And the interesting thing about that race is it's one of the only ones that's actually contested because based on the way the districts are, most of them are pretty automatic. This is one that is not automatic, so it's a bit heated. And the story that we saw yesterday, and I believe, it was yesterday, and it was by Jack Suntrup in the Post-Dispatch. And the story was that the campaign manager for George Haruza was essentially nearly run off the road by someone who, according to the story, was mad about him working with George Haruza. And I'll let them explain the details, but I'm trying to do this quickly to set it up because we wanted you to understand in advance why we have gone this direction. We reached out to the Haruza campaign, and they said George can come in, so he's coming in at 1 o'clock. We've reached out to Tracy McCreary's campaign as well, so we'll get a little bit of both on that, hopefully at some point. But the story goes that this driver tried to run the campaign manager off the road and was yelling things and making gestures, and eventually that the story goes that there was a police report filed. The police said there wasn't a report filed. Turns out that it might have been done online as opposed to on the phone. Anyway, these are the reasons why we want to sort through it. And there's an open letter to the McCreary campaign about essentially this becoming too much. And I know I'm going through this very quickly because I kind of have to. That's the short version. We'll go a little bit deeper into it and see what's going on here. To me, I don't know about you guys. To me, it's more of the same stuff that we talk about all the time where everybody's just too busy. Trying to paint their opponents in all political ways. We're too busy trying to worry about the faults of opponents and all of that instead of on what we should be talking about. But maybe there is something to this particular story.
We'll find out what he says from his end, and we'll get McCreary's end hopefully as well. As you said, we've reached out to her campaign. So we'll see where there is if there's any sort of discrepancy here. But if there is in fact an effort from her campaign or any campaign to entice people to threaten an opponent anywhere, completely unacceptable.
Of course.
It is completely unacceptable, and we should not allow it, and it should be disqualifying if that's the kind of behavior you are engaging in. But I'm not entirely sure that I am convinced this is exactly what's happened. And I
have so many questions.
I have a ton of questions, which is why we're going to talk to him.
Exactly right. We just want to we're going to ask every question that comes up. And again, we'll do the same thing on the other side of it when we get that opportunity to do that, whenever that is, whether it's later on
but
today,
there is
tomorrow, whatever.
There is no question that look, politics has been heated before.
Yeah.
In my lifetime, there have been bitter campaigns. There have been volatile campaigns. It's not new. That idea is not new. But I do feel like we're in a more dangerous time where the actual rhetoric is worse and it's more intense than it used to be, say, 20 years ago. I mean, people have always been criticizing their opponents. Always. Political ads have always gone after the other person, have always gone after the opponent for their bad policies, bad decisions, bad business deals, whatever. It's been going on forever. But where it becomes unacceptable is when you are actually threatening the safety of somebody else. And if that is, in fact, what happens in this campaign or any campaign across the country, the person or campaign responsible for it really should not be allowed to be in office.
But I don't see anything where Tracy McCreary's
I don't
campaign is
either.
asking
I don't
for,
either. And I watched the political ad.
And yeah, he doesn't even say that. He just says it's encouraged because she said he's too extreme in her ad. Well, his campaign manager also said that McCreary is too extreme. And if that's the language you're using, okay, fine. I mean, my goodness, that's what Claire McCaskill used to get Todd Akin elected.
Yeah. Well,
was
the word
saying
radical
Todd Akin was too extreme, too conservative. But the thing is, this had nothing to do with anybody in the McCreary campaign. This is him saying someone that he believes was supporting her.
So we're going to find out.
We're
going to find out here in a few minutes.
Has nothing to do with her campaign.
We'll find out what the details are. We'll ask questions. We'll get some answers, and that'll be coming up after the news on the show.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at Zero Res, carpet cleaning experts. Great time of year to get your carpets cleaned. Football season, the kids are back from break. They're running around the house. They're playing games. They're rolling around on the carpet. You have the holidays coming up. It's cold and flu season, and we all know that your carpets hold in things like that, just nastiness and dirt and dander and dust and skin cells and pet stuff and pizza because of the laws of gravity. Well, this month's DGS KMOX special is the more you clean, the more you save. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129, or get 5 rooms starting at just $199. That is a 43% savings. Book now to get the best carpet cleaning deal of this season. And don't forget about your air ducts, $75 off air duct cleaning. And don't forget, Zero Res is hiring right now. So give us a call, 314-474-2020 or ZeroResSTL.com. Spell it backwards, spell it forwards, ZeroResSTL.com.
You had a solid retirement dream, sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling, here to tell you about an organization that is near and dear to our company and one we've been proud to sponsor, Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Greater St. Louis Honor Flight flies World War II, Korea, and Vietnam War veterans to Washington, D.C. for free to see their memorials. Greater St. Louis Honor Flight is looking for you. If you know of a veteran, please sign them up for their honor flight. Or if you'd like to lend your support, visit gslhonorflight.org. And for all things heating and cooling, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Gas Appliance Service and the Fireplace and Grill Center have a huge selection of gas logs in stock to make your home warm and inviting. Don't get caught in the cold. Shop now for great prices, selection, and schedule your expert installation before long lead times of the holiday rush. See the beautiful burning displays at Gas Appliance Service near Westport or the Fireplace and Grill Center, a quarter mile east of 141 on the south side of Manchester Road. Hurry while supplies last. Gas Appliance Service and the Fireplace and Grill Center.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 1 o'clock, we have sunny skies and 63 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel. Police investigating the mystery of an unmarked grave found in a North St. Louis yard.
This is Kevin Killeen. In parts of North St. Louis, some of the empty houses, the abandoned properties are so overgrown, it looks almost rural. In one such empty house, a tiny house in the 3200 block of North 19th Street, neighbors say squatters have been coming and going for a while, and then they got a tip somebody died or was killed here, and looking under a brush pile, they found some disturbed dirt. The neighborhood alderman, Brandon Bosley, got a fire department cadaver dog, did some sniffing around. They dug down 4 feet and found some human remains, reportedly a rib cage and hip bone. They are investigating now to see who was this person and what happened to them.
Prosecutors have rested their case in the trial of a Wisconsin man accused of killing 6 people and injuring scores of others when he allegedly drove his SUV through a Christmas parade. Darrell Brooks faces 76 charges in connection with the November incident in Waukesha. He dismissed his attorneys days before his trial began earlier this month, electing to represent himself. Boston Chemical calls out the company that left radioactive lead behind at Jana Elementary.
Dr. Marco Kaltofen, president Boston Chemical, says the company who did not clean up their atomic bomb waste that infiltrated the creek that flows behind Jana Elementary should be held accountable.
This waste was deposited decades ago by the Cotter Corporation on Coldwater Creek, and ultimately Cotter should bear some responsibility for radioactive material in the community.
He says cleanup is a slow process, and Jana Elementary is utilizing virtual learning until later next month following the release of their study. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
It's a beautiful fall day, but MoDOT is thinking about winter. It's the winter operations drill.
You will notice an increased number of MoDOT vehicles out on the state routes. They will have their salt beds and snowplows on.
MoDOT's Michelle Fornera says be patient with the drivers and be patient this winter too, because the major snowplow driver shortage continues.
It's going to take us significantly longer to return roads to mostly clear after a winter storm ends.
Plow drivers will focus first on interstates and major routes. Other routes may not be cleared for 24 hours or more after a winter storm ends. How often do you look at your phone while you're driving? The National Distracted Driving Coalition says probably too much. The group's trying to raise awareness of smartphone settings they say could save your life.
Just about every cell phone now, whether you have Apple, Android, Google, has settings that will automatically turn on when your phone senses you're driving or it connects to your car's Bluetooth. That will temporarily disable notifications from lighting up your screen, and it'll disable those notifications from sounding.
AAA Missouri's Nick Shaberi on Total Information AM says he'd like for cell phone companies to make Do Not Disturb the default setting. The First Mid-Bank and Trust Business Desk. Missouri among the top 5 states for apple consumption. That's according to the 2022 Apple Consumption Index. A new report from Opal Apples, the 4 states that eat more apples than the Show Me State: New York, Connecticut, California. Number 1 is Arizona. There is a crash, 255 eastbound past Lee May Ferry Road. The 3 left lanes are closed. That could be out there for another hour. Emergency vehicles 44 westbound to 270 southbound. A stalled vehicle 61 southbound at 70. The left lane is closed in that location. The KMOX forecast sponsored by VA St. Louis Healthcare.
We should really notice a nice change in the temperature going through the afternoon. Lots of sunshine, 68 for the high today. That is exactly where we should be at this point in October. Tonight, clear skies, a drop out of the 60s for any early evening plans. 40 will do it for the low. Friday, lots of sunshine, warm it up quickly. 78 for the high Friday afternoon. Saturday and Sunday, partly to mostly sunny skies, 79, 80 each day for high temperatures. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Right now, it is sunny and 63 degrees downtown at the Arch. Support comes from the VA St. Louis healthcare system, offering world-class care to all enrolled veterans. If you think you're at risk for monkeypox, vaccines are available. Contact your primary care provider through My Health EVET, the St. Louis VA Healthcare for Heroes. And the Dow from Stifel is down 63 points. I'm Carol Daniel, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than four? 314-441-4444.
All right, it's 105 on the show. Chris Ranji, Amy Markscores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. And we're joined in studio by Dr. George Arruza. He is running against Tracy McCreary in the 24th District for the state Senate in the state of Missouri. We obviously we teased this a little bit before the top of the hour, an interesting and, I'll be honest, seemingly a little bit of a strange story that we saw yesterday. We'll talk a bit about that with Dr. Arruza here on KMOX. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it. How you doing?
Doing great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you making the time. And I know there's a lot that we can dive into. And I want to start with the story from yesterday. Just have you kind of set this up, because it is a very bizarre thing to have essentially what sounded like a road rage incident, and it kind of built from there. So I guess have you tell the story, and we'll go from there with questions.
Sure. Well, so my office, my campaign manager was driving on I-270, and some gentleman initially seemed like he was just drifting over, but then clearly kept pushing over him to the side of the road with his windows rolled down and screaming multiple invectives and lots of foul language, clearly quite worked up over my manager having a magnet on the side of his car with my name on it. And he was F this, F that, along me and Republicans and so forth. So my manager was quite shook up. He basically got off the side of the road and called my wife, and clearly was quite worked up. You know, he's got kids and all, so kids and wife. And to me, it was really, the issue really was that it really isn't about politics. You know, this is about people like that, and we had other issues where we've had some people who were quite worked up, harassing people at my office. I'm a dermatologist taking care of skin cancer patients, and they calling the office and being harassing the staff, and even calling the emergency line, which is supposed to be used patients in emergency situations. So for me, I just got quite concerned because when I have people close to me being attacked and put in danger because of the false extreme rhetoric being used against me, I felt I had to do something. And so I wanted to let my opponent know that these things are going on, so we can redirect the campaign and focus on actual issues so that the voters can make fully informed decisions on election day. Because some of the rhetoric that's been used in the campaign has been using very extreme language, and people who are, the people out there who take that and decide they're going to take the matters into their own hands.
Yeah, I think we see that on both sides. You hear the word radical a lot from both sides, and includes the Republican Party and includes the Democratic Party. It happens. But I'm going to go back to the road rage incident. How did your manager, first of all, know for a fact that that's why he was being driven off the road? And second, how did he hear all of these expletives? Because when you're on the interstate, you can't really hear what's going on in cars next to you unless they're honking.
So the gentleman had his windows rolled down and was screaming. And the one word I remember, F Republicans, is the word that my manager distinctly heard. If there are some other ones, and I know that there was a whole stream of invective that he was hearing, and I do believe that they probably were slowing down because he was getting pushed over the side of the road, so he was slowing down. But it's
what kind of car was it?
Clearly was we have the picture of the car.
Great. Okay, great. Yeah.
We have chosen not to share it because this is kind of a potentially criminal issue.
Sure.
but,
So you shared it
but,
with the
you know,
police then?
Yes,
Okay.
at least, my manager contacted Crime Stoppers. He called St. Louis County Police, and they told him to contact Crime Stoppers.
Because the spokesperson for the St. Louis County Police says that they do not see a report referencing this.
Right. So I spoke to my manager about that. Apparently, he's never had to file a police report in his career, fortunately. And so he contacted St. Louis Police, and they directed him to Crime Stoppers, and that's where he reported the incident. But we certainly do have all that information if they choose to further investigate it. He also spoke to a police officer at the Frontenac Police that he knows, and was told, well, it's a he said, she said situation, so we really can't do anything about it.
Is that because there's no video? There's nothing that would be, I mean, you obviously can't shoot video while you're driving down the highway when somebody's driving like that. So
Well, you have a dash cam, right?
There you go.
But not how many people here have that.
I don't have a dash cam on there.
Right.
So is that really at the root of it? Why at this point, that's basically it? Is that why he would have been directed to the Crime Stoppers instead of just straight to a police officer who would do the report, simply because it's that type of incident and there was no accident, there is no visual evidence? Is that your understanding of that?
That's the best I can make out of it. To me, the issue really is the issue that I find is the concerning thing is really the incident, of course, because there's someone put in danger. Unfortunately, nothing happened, and then there's these other milder situations, and it's just that we need to really get back to a place where we can talk about issues without riling up people to the point of taking matters into their own hands.
And again, just kind of working through the logistics of this. So your campaign manager, you said the offending car, his windows were open. Were your campaign manager's windows open?
I would have to defer it to him. I don't want to misspeak.
That's an important point, I would think.
And again, I mean, and I think with this story, we see people, lots of road rage. And I was running in Forest Park 2 days ago, and a guy in a car was mad that I was running, shouted lots of expletives. F runners was one of them, and kind of swerved towards me in a way. So again, I wouldn't say that's what all non-runners are like. So with this has nothing to do with Tracy McCreery's campaign. This is someone we don't even know that he's voting for Tracy McCreery. This guy just doesn't like Republicans, but he might also hate Democrats too, right? All we know is that for whatever reason, the one thing your campaign manager heard was blank Republicans, and that's it. So we can't describe his motivations to anything. We can't describe his motivations to anything. We don't know.
I'm not trying to actually describe motivations. My thing is that the extreme rhetoric, calling people extreme this, extreme that, is what has people who are somewhat unbalanced take matters in their own hands. So that's what I'm trying to bring that temperature down. That is really my issue, so that my staff is safe, as well as my wife. There also was an incident of someone photographing the house with my wife and with my wife in the yard, which is another area which certainly shook her up after this happened the day before. So my whole thing is bring the temperature down. I'm not accusing anyone of doing something intentionally. It is the unintended consequences when you say things which are false and very inflammatory.
Would you agree that the extreme rhetoric exists with your party as well?
All I know is that my campaign does not engage in extreme rhetoric.
But you know about other Republicans running for other office in Missouri. You've heard of things. You must know some about general politics and what's been going on in the country. I mean, you would have to agree that it does happen with the Republican Party as well, correct?
Extreme rhetoric occurs on both extremes, and that is part of the reason I'm running. I'm not a career politician, and so I'm running to actually be the common sense middle ground to get things done.
Great.
And again, we have Dr. George Haruza in studio running in the 24th district for the Missouri State Senate. And this is a district that is apparently fairly balanced, correct? This is why it's one of the tight races. This is one that in most of the races like this, it seems we know who's going to win. We know it's the district slants a certain way. This district is not quite like that. Do you think that's where the excitement level, this extra that you're talking about, is coming from?
Definitely, there's a lot of intensity, a lot of energy on both sides, I'm sure. But I certainly see it on our side, and it is the only district that people like to say is in play this year in the state Senate.
And you think, I mean, is it fair to say that that may be part of what is ramping it up? I know that there are a lot of things. I think the nation is ramped up. I mean, when we talk about it every day, we hear stories every day that are similar to this. Is that part of it, that everybody that lives there knows that there's something going on and they have a visceral reaction to it?
I think it's just the extreme rhetoric that is emanating from one side at this point. And I think that is what one side at this point in this race. Yes.
In this race.
So where is the extreme rhetoric other than calling some of the people I believe you donated to radical?
No, so I think maybe
because that's if you're referencing the ad,
no,
right?
I'm talking about extreme MAGA. To call me extreme MAGA, that is what tends to set people off.
Sure. Did she say that?
Yes, that is what it says in the ad, extreme MAGA.
Which ad are you referencing? Because I've seen an ad and I don't see her calling you extreme MAGA.
It's on the ad. It's an ad with my picture, very fortunately very faded.
Okay.
I look very pale, which is very respectful of me being a dermatologist and making sure that I wear my sunscreen. So I appreciated that.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
can I ask? So, if they're in the ads, they're saying you're extreme. Can you say what positions that you do hold are they misrepresenting?
So
which ones do you feel that they're saying are extreme, and you're saying I'm not extreme?
Well, they're actually not representing my positions. They're accusing me of supporting candidates that are extreme. Yet I support candidates based on I've been advocating for dermatology and patients for 20 years, and I've contributed to candidates on both sides of the aisle based on how they stand for patients and physicians. So I've supported Roy Blunt, Ann Wagner, Jim Talent, Kim Schreier. She's on the Liberal Democrat from California. So I support based on those issues. So there's nothing to do with any kind of, and a lot of those donations were made before MAGA even existed.
So where from this point forward, is it simply about, as you said, kind of leveling it out, getting to the point where it's just the conversation that is the goal? It's not about assessing who's doing what. I know that there were questions about whether or not people were being kind of encouraged to do this. Is there anything that shows that people were encouraged to do this, or is it again that heated competition, the general language that's been used pretty consistently with most political fights in the last couple of years? Is there any indication that there's more than it's just that?
Yes, when you put on air things such as extreme MAGA, insurrectionists, all false, those will tend to get people worked up. So I would suggest that you stick to the issues. To me, it's crime, inflation, and education. That is what I hear at the doors, and that's what we should be discussing.
Do you believe people should not be talking about the insurrection, should not be worried about it in any way?
Oh, I think people should be. Hey, I came from a communist country, so for me, freedom of speech is essential. I don't think it should be restricted in any way. I'm talking about safety. This is why I was mentioning that they can talk about it all they want, all day. You know, I mean, I think the in Congress they have primetime stuff on TV all the time. I have no problem with that. My problem is that when you're making false accusations, which then rile up people to cause trouble, that's when I get concerned, because I certainly want to make sure that my staff, my managers, are not put at risk.
George, we appreciate you coming down. Thank you for explaining where everything stands on that and explaining the story that we were reading about in the Post-Dispatch yesterday. And if we get a chance to do it again, we'll definitely reach out.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for
Thanks
coming
having
down.
me.
We appreciate it. That's Dr. George Aruza running as the Republican in the 24th district in the state Senate race. And obviously, he's running against Tracy McCreary. And as we pointed out earlier, but we'll repeat again, we've also reached out to Tracy's staff to see if we can do this very same thing at some point in the not too distant future. All right, coming up, we got Derek Gould joining us in studio just after the 1:30 news.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is, without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-328-8000 or at chrisbuyshomes.louis.com and get your cash offer without any obligations, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay the rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-328-8000. That's 314-328-8000. Call Chris and get the offer you've been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com or call 314-328-8000.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. After Halloween, your used jack-o'-lantern and other gourds are great additions to any compost pile. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
To understand what makes Diamonds Direct different, you have to know our history. It goes back 70 years to a renowned diamond cutter overseas. From there came years of diamond cutting, manufacturing, and wholesaling, supplying exquisite fine diamonds to top high-end jewelers. Eventually, those same wholesalers began selling direct to you, and that started a revolution. Today, we are a global diamond powerhouse with hundreds of thousands of customers and an impeccable reputation. But our core values remain the same as always. Our diamonds are the highest quality cut by the best craftsmen. Our prices are the most compelling. Our selection is staggering, and our warranties and guarantees are unbeatable. And our entire team's only goal is to help you find the diamond of your dreams. So as the story unfolds and the revolution continues, we invite you into our home to enjoy a jewelry shopping experience unlike any other. Born in craftsmanship, rooted in quality, and thriving in passion. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Online at diamondsdirect.com.
Live and local, this is St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
All right, cool. We'll do a quick follow-up to our last conversation here, and then we'll do a little bit of baseball and a few other things with our good friend Derek Gould. He'll be in studio with us after the 1:30 news. So we just finished that conversation. I think the reason we wanted to have it, and again, we have reached out to Tracy McCreary's people as well. We'll offer the same opportunity, same amount of time to come in and talk about the race and the heated nature of it. And it started with the road rage incident, which led to the letter
Alleged.
from yeah, we'll just go with what we're being told.
Yeah.
With the we got there was the letter from Dr. Aruza that went to McCreary's campaign, and the reason I wanted to bring it up, and the reason I put this in our list of things to talk about was that came across as essentially blaming the other your opponent for this thing happening, and that's why we wanted to ask the questions that we did when we talked to him to make sure that to be clear that whether that was or was not the actual intention of sending that letter.
I know he referenced, and by the way, I can agree, and I think we all should agree that extreme rhetoric about the other party, like they're taking your baby parts or whatever. Like, I mean, just all that stuff needs to go away.
We've been
like
talking
all that
about
stuff.
This for months. The demonization and that kind of thing. Yeah.
It has to go away. So I think we can all agree on that. Where I'm not comfortable going is saying that Tracy McCreary's campaign has been so much in that direction that it caused some guy on I-270 to try and run his campaign manager off the road. I can't go there. I can't go there because It could just be the person who did that was nuts, and maybe his campaign manager cut him off. And then he got mad and started yelling at him like, I hate Republicans. Like if you were flying a Kansas City Chiefs flag on your car or something.
I don't
it could
know
be
that we want to be like figuring out the motive or
well, I'm just saying it could be
any.
any. The point I'm making, Kevin, is it could be anything. And I don't like ascribing it to, well, this guy hates me because of Tracy McCreary and she brought this about. Because I've watched the campaign ad. There's a 30-second television spot. I've seen it.
The one where it says he supports radical anti-choice politicians.
Yes.
That one.
Yeah.
Which again is very misleading because of the way it says radical anti-choice politicians. I mean, he's explaining that's basically pro-life, right? Republicans, because I mean, you could be they could be defined as radicals simply by being pro-life. But then what happens is the Chiron or the text changes.
It's the small text, yeah.
So that then it says he supported these politicians, and it just says no exceptions in cases of rape and incest. And it's referring to, I guess, some of the more radical Republican, if that's what we call it, far right leaning people who have spoken out saying no abortions for any reason. But it's posited so that it looks like that's Haruza's position when it's not. And he has spoken out in favor of abortion exceptions in case of rape and incest and when the life of the mother is at risk. So he has said multiple times on the record and spoken out for that, saying it's, to keep that in play. But the way the ad is construed, it looks very much like he's against those exceptions, which is, if you are a woman, would be a very scary prospect.
Absolutely. In the same way that his campaign accused her of wanting to defund the police, and she very clearly does not want to defund the police. So it seems to be happening on both ends here, but I can't necessarily buy the idea of this person on the highway, and I'm not doubting the incident occurred. I'm just doubting what the motivation for the incident is.
We can't know. We can't know. We can know what happened.
And I certainly doubt she's responsible for it.
And I will say that the overall message of this kind of thing is bad.
That I agree with.
I mean, and when we're looking at the story, part of the reason we reached out to him, of course, he's going to talk about the perceived attacks or real, whatever, the stuff directed at him is how he's going to see it, which is why we also reached out to the Mercury site. And I'm sure they're going to have the same response. Hey, these things are being said about us too. And it's that bigger picture thing where we want to stop with this person is the worst person in this story or in this topic, like the extreme anti-choice versus the defund the police, abortions with no restrictions. These are the problems with the general language we're using. And this incident, it's kind of emblematic of the bigger problem.
See, I'm almost kind of on the opposite because this incident is so weird and the logistics and the whole idea of it is weird. I feel like it's a distraction from the actual topic, which is credible, which is, the language has gotten too extreme. People are looking at this as an existential threat, but the whole road rage thing is a little bit not a stretch, but I don't like that it's distracting because people are weird on the road. Like I said, I got literally cussed out and run over in Forest Park because I'm a runner. What should happen is like we should have this conversation, the doxing, the harassing calls, that's horrible. You can bring that up. This road rage is almost like distracting because we don't know. It could be an anarchist. I don't know.
It does lead to the conversation that needs to be had, though, that everybody involved in politics needs to slow it down. You got to chill a little bit. Get onto the real things, but let's not add to the thing by exaggerating because we want to make the person that we're running against look worse than they already are.
Weeknights at 6. It's the Meyer Jensen Sports Open Line.
Welcome into the program. My name is Matt Pauley.
Matt gets you inside the world of sports. Cardinals, Chiefs, Pelicans. You'll get it all and much more.
We have an exclusive podcast that's Cardinals related called Cardscast.
Plus great guests, insight, and conversations with you.
If you want to join us, you can do so by calling or texting.
The Meyer Jensen Sports Open Line on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Hey, it's Matzo Matt again for Brew Pub, lots of matzo pizza. The October winds of change are upon us. The temps are dropping, the leaves are turning, and many of us modify our meal choices to fit the season. Now, one thing that doesn't change is the quality and satisfaction that comes with downing a Brew Pub lots of matzo pizza. Same first-class mozzarella cheese that's won awards for its quality and taste, along with plenty of toppings that are second to none. So fire up the oven, take the chill out of the air, and enjoy the best of both worlds, a Brew Pub pizza and the warmth of your own home. Snag a Brew Pub lots of matzo pizza today from your local grocery store.
At 1:30, we have sunny skies and 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel.
It's a little tough right now.
But the president of St. Mary's High School says they are not closing and their property is not being sold. Mike England says they haven't had such high morale at the school in the 10 years he's been at St. Mary's, despite the Archdiocese recommendation the Dutchtown High School close. England says they have filed for 501c3 status.
I've got some really smart people from our board that are working on a financial plan for us right now, and they are figuring out exactly what the financial hole that we need to fill now with the Archdiocese not being a part of things is.
Aside from their responsibility to the boys and families they serve, he says St. Mary's is an anchor for Dutchtown and a neighborhood resource that must be saved. Declining enrollment is still plaguing colleges and universities across the country. The latest drop of 1.1% isn't nearly as steep as the record 6.5% decline over the first 2 years of the pandemic, but does not show any signs of a correction. A town employee who for years quietly lowered the fluoride level in a Vermont community's drinking water has resigned. Richmond Water Superintendent Kendall Chamberlain submitted a letter of resignation Monday. He says in his resignation letter that fluoride levels have not been in the state recommended range for over a decade. That's much longer than the nearly 4 years the state had originally disclosed. There's a crash 255 eastbound past Lee May Ferry Road. The two right lanes remain closed, could be closed for another 20 minutes. And a stalled vehicle 61 southbound at 70. The left lane had been closed. MoDOT says that should be open by now. The KMOX forecast for tonight, look for clear to partly cloudy skies, overnight low 50 degrees, sunny, even warmer tomorrow, the high 81. Right now it's sunny and 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. The forecast sponsored by Reinhold Flooring. Want beautiful first-class flooring at a competitive price? Call Reinhold Flooring with professional craftsmen and a knowledgeable, caring sales staff. That helped earn them St. Louis Magazine's best flooring store 2 years in a row. Set up a free in-home measure and consultation at ReinholdFlooring.com. I'm Carol Daniel, KMOX News.
Starting to feel the cold, crisp air seep in? Book your free consultation and save money on your energy bills with our Smart 365 energy efficient windows. Visit us at stlwindowsdirect.com.
STL Windows Direct.
Hey guys, Glover here, and I see clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra, and you can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
KMOX with the St. Louis Odyssey stations will once again partner with you to raise funds for SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital through the Tree of Hope program. With your help and the help of our sponsors, we have raised over $170,000 over the past 2 years. If you own a business and would be interested in donating or partnering with us on this year's campaign, please sign up at KMOX.com/Cardinal Glennon or text HOPE to 20357.
Your home of the Cardinals.
Arenado swings and hits it deep to left field. That ball is out of here.
The Billikens.
Jumper. Yes! Billikens win!
The Chiefs.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
We are America's sports voice, KMOX.
That's coming up on 134 on the show. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark, Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. And my good buddy Derek Gould from the Post-Dispatch is kind enough to come in studio and hang out. This is the third in-studio guest, man.
Really?
And thank you for doing this. Yeah, that's really unusual. We
Oh,
don't
you
do
mean
that
today?
much today. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
okay.
good to have you in, man.
Like a hat trick.
Yeah. Well, you're the finisher.
I'm using hockey terms.
There we go. That
Yeah.
helped.
Well, it's hockey season.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Well,
Prematurely, I think, for us.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
just have to say that I am I'm kind of a dork. I'm a super fangirl of Derek Gould and Tom Timmerman. So I'm like really excited
Tom's
that
the
DG
best.
is here.
Tom is the best. He and I covered hockey together, and Tom Timmerman's one of the best. He kept me sane a lot of times.
He's
out there.
I learned so much. I think if you take everything I learned, well, let me do this. If you take what I learned talking to Tom Timmerman, standing in the locker room waiting for the players to come out, versus everything else I learned in the rest of my life combined, I probably learned more in those few minutes just talking to Tom Timmerman every day. I think 2 of his family members won Jeopardy.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of his brothers works out at the library in Los Angeles, and I think is the library.
Oh.
at Los
Just
Angeles.
him?
He's just so amazing. He's got just such a wealth of baseball knowledge,
Yeah.
Dodger knowledge, history. But yeah, no,
Yep.
it's you don't want to get into a Jeopardy contest with the Timmermans. Oh my gosh.
He said you should hear Thanksgiving at the Timmerman house.
Oh gosh.
All right.
That's probably way better than Kevin's family's Thanksgiving.
Which is just yelling.
Oh, it's all
God,
yelling.
just screaming. And
Oh, it's totally yelling.
about nothing.
Like about Detroit sports.
How do you just know everything?
Oh.
Everything. I mean, how do you think I got this way?
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
like by accident.
No, we know. That's
Yeah, yeah.
exacly why.
Yeah. You
So
guys
like
should-
your
you guys should-
Thanksgiving
you guys
was
should
the
come with
original
us.
podcast?
Oh my God, yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God, yeah. You know, like everybody has that uncle. I had 7 of them,
Oh,
and 3
God.
aunts that are the same way.
Wow.
My dad's one of 10, man. And when
Oof.
everybody was together, it's better now. Like, because we work in the smaller unit. It's not the whole clan. It's just like me and my brother and my sister and all of our families, and then my parents. It's not like 30 people. It used to be bigger. You should see the family reunions, though, boy. Woo. That should be a reality show. It should truly be a reality show.
Oof.
It covers all the bases.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah, we're gonna have
Couldn't
you
do
guys. You guys got to come to the next reunion. We do the family.
I'll do a
picnic in the
drop-by.
summer. I'm gonna bring you guys out there.
I'll do a drop by and I'll bring like a pot of something,
Yeah.
and then I'll be like, "I'll see you guys. I can't do all this."
It's good.
How about them Cardinals?
Yeah,
Hey!
Cardinals, hey.
I just
It's like throwing out the elbow. Hey, how about them Cardinals there? Hey. All right. So when are the Cardinals signing Aaron Judge?
No. Wilson Contreras.
Wilson Contreras.
Yeah, when's that happening?
Yeah.
Why?
I need a catcher now.
They do need a catcher. They don't have like a given, championships teams they say are built from the middle out. I'm sure Kevin's heard that. Y'all have heard that. Whether that's baseball, football,
Mhm.
whatever. The Cardinals don't know who their starters up the middle is. They know who one of them. They figure Tommy Edman's going to be somewhere. He's a finalist for the Gold Glove at second base again this year. He's likely to win the utility Gold Glove, I would imagine. But is he going to be the starting shortstop? Is he the starting second baseman next year? Who's the starting center fielder? And of course, then catcher for the first time in the 2000s. It's 2022. For the first time in the 2000s,
Wow.
the Cardinals they have a competition
Wow.
at
It's wild.
catcher.
Yeah.
Since they signed Mike Matheny as a free agent and had him compete with Eli Marrero, they have had just this continuity at catcher. Kisner's there, Herrera's there, but you could see them going outside. They could trade for a longer term answer that might be, a little bit more cost effective than Wilson Contreras. They could also find guys who are better defensively than Contreras, and then go look for offense elsewhere to improve the lineup. Contreras is an interesting one. He comes with a draft pick attached to him. So how that works will be, because he's going to get a qualifying offer from the
Right,
Cubs.
right.
And there's really even some conversation about whether or not he accepts that because it's so close to $20 million for next year. So
What do you think he gets years and dollars total?
don't really, that's a great question. Like, I don't know yet. That's a tough one because how's he going to be viewed, right? We saw what like Real Muto got, right?
Yeah.
And is he Real Muto? No, he's not. He's not Real Muto defensively or handling a staff. Does that hold him back? How much does his offense carry that? Because Real Muto, he's gonna get on some MVP ballots this year.
Right.
Contreras is not that kind of player at catcher. So I don't know. Is it closer to what? It's hard to say. I don't really know where it fits. Do you pay him as a hitter who catches, or as a catcher who hits slightly better than every other catcher? Probably the latter.
Yeah, that's what I
And
was gonna
so
say.
then you get the 4-year and slightly above the, what would it be, 24 AAV? Because
So we're
Molina
basically
set the
basically 100.
yeah,
like just
maybe
round
slightly
numbers.
less than that.
Okay.
Yeah. Molina kind of set the bar at 20 million, I
Right.
think, back to when he got that extension. And so that it's been moving up since then.
Beyond that, because that was the first thing when Mozeliak was on with Ackerman on Sports on a Sunday, when they talked about, what do you need? Basically, that was the very first thing he went to.
Sure.
What else do they need?
I mean, they need somebody to outfit the lineup. If they think that's catcher, then that's catcher. But they just to deepen the lineup, they need some kind of, to me, and Mozeliak pushes back on this. He said there's no certainty in baseball, and my view is that certainty just costs more. Like you know what kind of player Bryce Harper is going to be. You got a pretty good view what Manny Machado is going to be, and they've been those players. They just cost a lot of money as free agents, or they cost a lot to trade for. But they need some kind of certainty to add depth to that lineup. If that's a certain leadoff hitter, all the better. If that's a certain middle order hitter, all the better. They do have, it's like history's repeating itself, to be honest. It's like in 2011, when Albert Pujols signs with the Angels, you're like, well, where are they going to get that middle order hitter? Now Albert Pujols retires, and it's like, well, where are they going to get that middle order?
Yeah, right.
It's like,
A decade later.
11 years later,
11 years later,
question.
like 20 home runs walked out the door.
Well, and
Where are you going to get that?
Albert's
And-
actually the proof of what you're saying, right? Because they didn't bring him in knowing that he was going to be that, but he wound up being something they desperately needed.
Yeah.
And, you look at this year, you can't necessarily go with that maybe again because you were counting on young guys. And plus, who knows with injuries. I think the Tyler O'Neill season is concerning. I mean, when I look ahead, he's had one big run. And other than that, a lot of injuries
One
and
good
inconsistency.
season.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you can say a good season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know he was like a second half very hot and
Right,
productive,
right.
in it, but that's a breakout season. Just
Right.
didn't sustain.
But can we, I would have said coming into this year, you were hoping that he would be one of those yeses.
Yeah, he needed,
and he wasn't.
He needed to be part of the MV3,
Right,
and Pujols
right.
needed to be a complement. Instead, I mean, really, what's been lacking for the Cardinals for years is the outfielder that other teams have. Either they cycle through or they get, but I mean, like the Nick Castellanos just hasn't been there for the Cardinals. Marcell Ozuna was briefly, but even he was below average when it came to cleanup hitters.
What they needed, yeah.
What they needed. And so it's outfield is at the corner outfield positions are production power positions. And what they've been is a carousel of inconsistency for the Cardinals.
Arenado will be back, right?
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason to. I know that when Mozeliak was asked about it, it was. I mean, we think he's coming back. We don't really have a reason to think he won't. I mean, that's kind of how we should look at it.
Yeah, it's weird because there are some like rules about it, right? Like, and same with somewhat with Wainwright is some of this is governed by the CBA and what the union wants to see and what they want to see with the market, right? So they're not going to have Nolan Arenado say, "Yeah, I'm coming back in August or September," just because they need that to come after the market starts to shape right after the World Series, which is written into the contract. Same thing with like, you think back to like Wainwright, right? A few years ago, he had to become a free agent first before he could sign with the Cardinals because there are rules about how much of a pay cut you can take from the team you're with
Without going to the market.
without going to the market, right? So you have to go out there to be open, to all the other bidders before you take less. With Arenado, I mean, it's interesting because, they did add on that extra year. It's a team option. You could see where he would go to them and say, let's just guarantee that year, that $15 million at the end. That would balance out the contract a little bit as far as modern day value for what similar players have got. He's coming off a tremendous season, just really continues to be one of the all-round best players in the league, if not the all-round best player in the National League. He and Manny Machado, those are guys, and then Paul Goldschmidt obviously is a favorite for the MVP, but you have Arenado and Machado in that conversation for what they can do offensively and defensively. So, does he use that as leverage to say, hey, look, I want to stay here. I want to stay here long-term. That's already built into the contract. Let's do that. And that's possible. They can do that. And then, he has consistently said how much he just loves being here. He has said it over and over. and over again to friends, to colleagues, to other players, to players on other teams. I mean, to the media when they ask, he's not hid that, and he finds a connection in the same way kind of Molina did with, the love of baseball and the fondness for baseball they find in the roots here in St. Louis. They find out there, at Busch Stadium. They find in the cheers from crowded houses. And they, Molina never went anywhere else. Arenado's been somewhere else where that's not the case. So he knows what that means and really appreciates it.
All right, we're going to come back and talk a little more about that. We're going to go off sports. Not to politics, though. Don't worry, you're good. We're not going to put you in the middle of all that.
Did Timmerman send in trivia questions?
No. We
actually have to prepare.
We actually have been talking for a couple of days about the questions related to you staying at the Stanley Hotel.
Oh, yes.
And, what you did there.
My old haunt, if you will.
Yes.
Oh, man. That's an Amy joke.
I know. Kind of a.
Oh, man, I
fan of
nailed
dad
that
jokes.
one. Come on.
It was pretty good.
That was.
It's
You
better
didn't
than
even-
an
you didn't
Amy.
even laugh.
Well, I mean, it's
not a
a
laugh.
stoic look.
Yeah,
It's okay.
It's a chuckle.
It's one of
like
those.
a-
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Right.
That was a layered pun, multi-layered
I
pun.
liked it.
There you go. All right, Derek Gould in studio with us. We'll come back with a little bit more next on the show.
Well, if you own a business, you know that the past couple of years have been a little rough, especially if your business has 5 or more employees and you managed to survive COVID. You have survived shutdowns, restrictions, inflation, supply chain issues. It can be pretty rough. Well, if you could use a break, I've got good news. Go to getrefunds.com. Getrefunds.com. Again, if your business has 5 or more employees and managed to survive the past couple of years, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee. Now, it's not a loan and there's no payback. This is a refund of your taxes. And I know when it comes to taxes and refunds and red tape, it can be intimidating. At getrefunds.com, they can help you out. The team of tax attorneys they have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program and have already returned $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you too. Businesses of all types can qualify, even if your business took PPP, is a nonprofit, or saw an increase in sales. To find out if your business qualifies, just go to getrefunds.com.
We are all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. After Halloween this year, don't throw out your jack-o'-lantern. Use it to start composting instead. Pumpkins and other gourds are perfect additions to any compost pile. Also, you can add container soil and roots from potted plants that have withered away. And if you have a garden, be sure to add garden waste from cleaning and pruning, like stems, roots, and leaves. Join Odyssey. And together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
It's ridiculous over here in Illinois. It really is. How much worse does it have to get?
So expensive nowadays. I wait to the last minute, hoping that the prices will go down.
How much longer can you wait for relief? Governor Pritzker's doubling of the state's gas tax gave Illinois some of the highest gas prices in the nation. Yet the potholes in Chicago could swallow a CTA bus. Now Pritzker is forcing businesses to lie to their customers for his benefit.
Only thing Illinois is doing is delaying a gas tax increase and calling that a tax cut.
In Illinois, you have to sue to be able to tell the truth.
Gas station owners in Illinois are suing the state over a new law they claim violates their free speech rights.
How much longer will you be made to play the fool? In the last 4 years, Pritzker added another $2,165 to the tax burden Illinois families shoulder, which was already the highest in the nation. How much more of Pritzker can you afford? How much worse does it have to get before you make a change? Paid for by people who play by the rules, PAC.
This is Debbie Monterey with a real estate update and some insight from my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria told me that sitting on the sidelines may not be the best strategy moving forward in this continually shifting market. Homes aren't selling as quickly, and in most cases, price reductions are becoming pretty common. Gloria also said that earlier this year, with low inventory, sellers didn't need a strategy to sell homes because homes were listed and sold immediately. Now more than ever, it's crucial to have a proven strategy to get your home sold, and that's why I strongly suggest you call local real estate expert Gloria Liu before you list your home to get the absolute most money. Gloria is so confident that she will sell your home, she'll guarantee in writing upfront to sell it at your agreed to price and time frame, or she'll buy your home herself. Learn more by calling Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Creve Coeur camera was built on a foundation of customer service. When the internet exploded, people thought price was all that mattered. It forced us to close, but we're back under a new name called the Photo Pros. We provide you with the finest service and products you need: prints, metal, canvas, glasses, and cameras too. We preserve your old home movies, videotapes, photos, and slides to the newest digital formats, and we restore old photos too. You can Google the Photo Pros or even Creve Coeur camera, or call 314-567-3456.
Enjoy a better way to buy pre-owned at Bommarito. Shop thousands of vehicles at our 20 locations. Every make, every model, every price range. See it today. Drive it today. Buying 100% online. Use the Bommarito Fast Pass. Then count on Bommarito for service after the sale. A better experience, a better price for pre-owned. Go with the automotive leader. Bommarito, Missouri's #1 automotive group, open 24/7 at Bommarito.com.
Filing for Social Security could be one of the biggest financial decisions of your lifetime. Find out why with Your Retirement Professors, Saturday afternoons at 1 on St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
Charlie Brennan sees clearly thanks to Dr. Bertie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. Chris Ranji.
Wonderful bones, great eyes, and you dress really interesting.
On the show.
DGS coming up at the top of the hour. We got Derek Gould hanging out in studio with us till we get to the top of the hour. It's Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, and Kevin Wheeler with you on the show.
Before we get started on the good stuff here, if you were in the woods with your buddy and a bear attacked your friend, would
Tom,
you
make it Tom Timmerman?
Oh, Tom Timmerman was
Timmerman's
attacked
our
by a
buddy.
bear.
Yeah.
Oh.
A grizzly bear.
Yeah.
Sure.
Would you jump in and try to wrestle it?
Sure.
Wow,
Yes.
What a friend.
Sure.
That's a great friend.
Or like distract, like you don't have to jump in and wrestle. You can distract it.
I don't know. These
I don't know, man. The guy.
These
Did
two
you see the
guys-
story?
No.
So there were two
okay.
college wrestlers in Wyoming. They were in Yellowstone. They were, I guess, looking for like.
They were they going bear wrestling?
No. They were actually there looking for like
a moose to wrestle?
elk antlers that had been shed. Like they were
Oh,
looking
yeah.
for these kind of
Okay.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of them just out of nowhere got bum rushed by a bear, and it was attacking him. It was it was killing him.
Mhm.
And his buddy started punching and kicking and fighting the bear.
Yeah.
And then the bear turned on him and got on him. And then eventually the bear left, and some more teammates came in and carried those guys out. But the one dude saved the guy's life by jumping in and fighting the bear.
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do that for Tom Timmerman, obviously.
No, you do that. You just do
just do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do
Even
that.
for a
You
random
act.
guy.
Yeah. You
Look at
act.
this
But
guy.
you know,
I like that.
Like my thing is, you say you're going to do it.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what I would do it. And that's
Okay.
And Kevin can tell you. Kevin
I
can
mean,
tell you.
Derek got your back.
I would do it.
I believe him.
I've been,
you know what? I
I've been
believe you.
tested. I
You
would
have.
do it.
You've been
Yeah.
tested.
By a bear.
Not by bear.
No, but you
Okay.
have stepped in when you needed
Yeah.
to before.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something you do.
Okay.
Isn't
okay.
that incredible?
That's I think it's great because we all doubted what we would do.
Well, and the thing is not I mean, we're joking around with it being like, what if you don't know him? But, in those situations, you want to be the brave person. And I think, like we said, if it was Kevin's daughter, that parental instinct
Mhm.
kicks in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
questioning
And-
anything.
But you
Absolutely.
have
Yeah.
I encountered a grizzly bear on my trip. Now we didn't get attacked, but my initial reaction was to run, which is the worst thing you can do. And he was less than 20 feet away, and I saw him and I started to turn. And as I turned, I realized you're doing the wrong thing. So I turned back to face him, and we just like made eye contact. And that's the thing. Could you fight the flight instinct? And that's what I would hope.
Yeah. I mean, now you know that about yourself.
Well,
I mean, I
You
don't
couldn't
know.
exactly run though
yeah.
in that position.
All
but-
right, we got to get
All
to
right,
the
yeah,
big
good
story
stuff.
here.
Go ahead.
the hotel.
Amy, you were the one all fired up about
Yes.
it.
Derek Gould stayed at the hotel from The Shining, the Stanley Hotel.
Yes. Yeah. Room 217, the Stephen King room. Well, okay. So
Oh.
the Stanley
The
Hotel.
room, yeah.
The room, the Stephen King room. It's 217 there at the main house, like not the suite that recently opened with the tours and everything, which is not which is part of like an expanded kind of area there. But the old Stanley Hotel, the National Historic Memorial, all of it, there in Estes Park. So Estes Park is about 50 miles, 52 miles, 53 miles from where I grew up. And we'd go up there all the time. But yeah, a few years ago, I guess 2018, December 2018, my son is huge into movies, loves movies, came up with like this kind of notion of movie tourism. So like we went to Devil's Tower in Wyoming and watched Close Encounters. We did Blues Brothers in Chicago. We've done other things where we watch, where if we're on a trip, we'll watch a movie that's based there, or we'll take a trip and watch the movie there. And the Stanley Hotel and the Stephen King room was one that we're like,
Spooky.
well, we're here for Christmas anyway, or a little after Christmas, we can do it. Yeah, it was it was a little, it had moments. I mean, you're like on alert for like things, right? And so like you walk in and there was a Big Head Todd and the Monsters concert there.
Right.
And so we just lucked into finding the room available. I guess somebody had canceled and I was just online at the right time to get it. And but there was a concert there, so a lot of people, when you walk up the steps and there were twins there who would come for the concert.
Come on, man.
And I was like,
Come
wait,
on.
what is going on? Yeah. But the main thing, the big thing that I learned was that, man, it is like people come there for their photos. So like
to that room,
and they come take photos outside, or they'll knock to see if there's a response. And so it was like, well, this is going to get a lot through the night. You either embrace it, or like you're going to be at 3 a.m. woken up by somebody. So we embraced it. So they would come up and knock, and we would knock back.
Oh, that's great. Perfect.
We would wait. We could see through. We would wait for the folks to like pose for a selfie in front of it, and then we would creak the door open so that their expression on their selfie was.
Did you
nuts.
squeeze your face in there? We're like, here's Johnny.
Did not. No, but at one
that would
point,
be awesome.
At one point in time, I saw a guy who would run up, knock, and then run back.
Okay.
And then he would
Like
run
back
up,
away from the door?
away from the door, and he would run up and knock. And so I was watching through the keyhole, and as he came up and started to knock, I opened the door real fast, and so he went, "Whoa," and then ran the other direction, yelling.
They do know that was a movie and not real, right?
Oh, yeah. I think so. I didn't stop to ask him.
It's not like the Pfister in Milwaukee is haunted, right?
Okay, so yes, the Stanley Hotel has a haunted legacy. I mean, it does have.
Oh, it does?
Yeah. That
Oh,
room
okay.
struck by lightning, sent a bathtub way over. Someone survived it after being launched. So it has a whole history of being haunted even before Stephen King went to use it as inspiration.
Which is probably why he decided that.
Yes.
Huh? Probably learned the lore. Derek, thanks for stopping by, buddy.
Always a pleasure. Thanks,
we
man.
appreciate it. Derek Gould of the Post-Dispatch with us. DGS after the news here on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here from the DGS and KMOX talking about my friends at Zero Res, of course, the carpet cleaning business. Zero Res St. Louis has been in business for over 6 years and have proven themselves in the carpet cleaning community.